What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot Rico, it's Rico and Bot on the post-game show, coming to you live off an absolute ass-beating. Buffalo travels to Seattle in front of the 12-man and puts on a show, Rico. 31-10. These Bills get it done. They continue to dominate. 6-2, top of the East, while the rest of the division continues to piss themselves, Rico. What a Sunday. How you feeling, brother?
What a Sunday indeed. Listen, the Bills are up 4 games in the AFC East. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be absolutely thrilled with what these Bills have been able to do. We were down and out on the Bills when they had a 2-game losing streak. We said, this is probably the Bills that we're supposed to be, accepting, right? We have a whole bunch of injuries, Jordan Poirier. We started bringing up Jordan Poirier, Micah Hyde, all those guys. We haven't mentioned those guys in forever, and we should not have to, because this is a new wave, and this is a new, it's a good feeling to be up in the AFC East. 6-2 Bills come into Seattle, fly all the way west, right? The time zones are off. You're probably jet lagged, and you come in and absolutely own the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks had no answer offensively. They had no answer defensively, and even special teams that just could not help themselves. It was bad day for the Hawks today. Bad day. The 12s, I think that's what they called themselves, the 12s. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy, were they ever silent today. There wasn't a whole lot to be cheering about. Go Bills, baby. It was a great, great day. How'd you feel about having these Bills, watching them on the screen and just watching them execute? It must have been something.
It was domination from top to bottom, truly. It was an absolute masterclass on both sides of the ball today. The Bills' offense, this was as well-oiled a machine as I think that they've looked all season long. Outside of the interception, of course, and we knew that was inevitable. We knew that was going to be coming. The amount of times it was brought up this week should have told you that Allen was going to throw a pick this weekend, because out of nowhere, it had gone 6-7 weeks without him doing it. Going into week 8, everyone started talking about it, right? So you could chalk that up to it was just due. Outside of that, this offense did whatever it wanted through the air, whatever it wanted on the ground. They outgained Seattle by more than 200 yards in this game, nearly 450 yards of total offense for the Bills. But defensively, where I thought in this game without Terrell Bernard, they were going to struggle against the run. This was the best performance this Bills D has had against the run all year long. They completely eliminated the Seahawks' ability to run the ball. Kenneth Walker had 9 carries for 12 yards. Just over a yard per carry. Gino Smith wound up leading the way with 16 yards, which all came off of a late garbage time scramble. They had 1 yard of rushing offense going into the half, Rico. The lowest, they said in the broadcast, the lowest for the Seahawks since 2009. And you and I both talking Friday night and looked at this game and thought, without Bernard, the way this team's been defending the run, we were concerned that a guy like Kenneth Walker, who when he's on can be one of the better backs in the league, wasn't at all a factor, completely eliminated him. And then Gino Smith, they were able to do, without DK Metcalf, we knew it was not going to be as easy as it's been for the Seahawks, who have the number 1 passing offense going into it. So you factor that in. But still, to hold that offense that's been airing it out a ton this year to 212 yards, forcing the interception on Gino in a big moment where they were really able to go and put the nail in the coffin. Every time the Seahawks felt like they were going to go and try and make an attempt at staying in this game or pursue, keeping it within reason, the Bills defense stepped up. And I know there was self-inflicted wounds, of course, by Seattle. Early in the game, their center, it almost felt like he was trying to hand us the game with a couple of errant snaps there. But even with that, the Bills defense, and we talked about it Friday night, whether you don't think they're as good as the Chiefs defense or the Steelers defense, it's almost irrelevant, because in the biggest moments, they seem to be at their best. That was the example again today. When Seattle got down in scoring territory, the Bills D stepped up. But really collectively, Rico, I would say throughout the entire game from top to bottom, outside of garbage time, this Bills defense dominated, and I think the offense did the same. It was probably their most I don't know if you would agree, but in my opinion, I think this was their most overall collective performance in terms of both sides of the ball coming together and playing a full 60 minutes of great football.
It's tough because they've had some really good defensive games, right? And when you go back to the Jacksonville game, that was a hell of a game when they played against Jacksonville. They did 47-10 or something stupid against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the second game that the Bills defense has kept a team to 10 points or under, right? Actually, this is the third game this year.
This is the fourth game, Rico. This is the fourth game this year where the Bills have scored 31 and held opponents to 10 or less. Dominant.
Fourth time. You're at
fourth time.
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time. This is the fifth time we've kept a defense. Excuse me. We've kept. That's fourth. Excuse me. That was us. We got our asses beat.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost every game's been a blowout one way or the other.
I got carried away a little bit. Got carried away, but it goes to tell you. It goes to tell you. And as harsh as I was the last couple of days to my guy McDermott and him having to get the job done, this has nothing to do what he does regular season. Regular season, this boy always has his guys prepared. Playoffs is when we start to have those discussions. But in the regular season, whether you're a bench player, whether you're called up from the practice squad, these guys always seem to be prepared and know exactly what the task is, and they know what the assignment is. And the assignment was take away the run, make them one-dimensional. And that is exactly what we did. Now, if one can say, if not for the snap over the head, if not for the center stepping on the poor Gino Smith's foot, maybe this game is different. But you know what? Those things happen. Those things happen. You gotta execute. They didn't execute, and we took advantage of it. I don't care if that's what happened to them. The point is, they weren't able to recover. We were, and we were able to hang up 30+ points on these guys. Listen, man, we handle business, man. We handle business. I don't know why Luke is trying to get at you. Says
no, because he's right. We were both. We had a bad feeling about this game. I had felt
sure. We were just like,
no,
I don't know what to feel about this game.
I don't know if I knew what Seattle was, and like I had mentioned, I don't know if Seattle knows what they are either. Because this is what they seem to be. They seem to be a team that last week. I mean, it's so odd. 2 weeks ago, they get killed by the Niners, but there were a ton of injuries, and you're wondering if that factored in. And they get healthier. They play a good Atlanta Falcons team who won again today and was going into that game last week with only 2 losses. And they beat them by 20 points on the road. And then you're thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to get here? And then when you're factoring in Terrell Bernard being out, them having to go all the way to the West Coast, the weather, which we saw to be a factor today, I was just thinking of all these different elements. Plus, I thought Seattle was good offensively at the things that would be able to show the holes within the Bills' defense, and that's running the football in the intermediate passing game. That's why I was a bit nervous about it. I usually feel good about, more often than not, I feel like I'm right with my gut feelings on this stuff. This is as wrong as I've been. If you would have told me the Bills would have held Kenneth Walker in this game to 12 yards, I would have told you you're out of your mind. So I could not give enough credit to what I saw from these Bills defensively with, mind you, with Bernard out. This front four played terrific today. They weren't able to get after Gino as much as you would have hoped. But within the trenches, man, they made life difficult on everything. And the other thing, too, that I thought was crazy was outside with DK Metcalf being out. I thought Noah Fant was going to be up for a big day today because the Bills have had trouble stopping the intermediate pass game. He didn't have a catch until the third quarter was almost over. So, man, I don't know, Rico. If you would have told me that half the stuff that the Bills defense did today was going to occur in this game, I wouldn't have guessed it. But what we had thought would happen with the addition of Amari Cooper is that the offense would continue to open up around him. And that, to me, today was probably the most impressive element. You are now starting to see the individual roles of guys not named Amari Cooper becoming what we were hoping they'd be. And that's Amari Cooper, or excuse me, that's Khalil Shakir being borderline dominant in the intermediate pass game now. And Keon Coleman, it seems week after week now, Rico, he's that big play dude, and he continues to do it. I was beyond impressed with the pass game today, and Amari Cooper had 2 targets. Who would have thought?
Listen, there's something budding between Josh Allen and Keon Coleman, and it's evident. It's evident because that's 2 games in a row that you have. That's 2 games in a row that you have Keon Coleman really asserting himself, and his confidence is way up there today in the red zone. We had Keon Coleman, right? And I got to share my screen here because this play was something else. You had Keon Coleman that did not connect with Josh Allen on the first jump ball. And Keon and them had a conversation. I was listening to the presser. He goes, yo, it was just a miscommunication. And I love how he downplays things. We didn't get the first time, but I mean, we talked to each other and we were going to make sure. But if you take a look at what took place here, ladies and gentlemen, that's a big dog move. And then the top, and then oh, I'm not even showing y'all. Excuse me.
Coleman again goes up and gets it. Touchdown.
When you're sitting here, 6'3", 6'4",
Allen going to throw a fake. Coleman again.
One hand over your board.
Touchdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a big time play by a big time.
And you want to know what, Rico?
We can stop talking about. I mean, is he going to make it? Is he going to be? Listen, they seem to be building on something, and the more they build, the more Josh has confidence in Keon Coleman, the more it's going to open up for Kincaid, Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir.
Dude, he was
at 9 for a buck for over 100 yards today.
I mean, Brady was bringing up the things we've been saying for a while. He said he's showing him flashes of Amendola and Beasley and Edelman, and that's exactly what he's been. He catches every ball that comes his way. He is the yard after catch king. He's quick as hell. He always makes the first guy miss, and they design a ton of their plays specifically to go to him for that reason. How many times today, Rico, did Allen just snap it, whip it over to him and said, get to work? And he would make it work every time. They were saying earlier in the broadcast that this was the quickest that Allen was getting rid of the ball all season in this game. And it was because the ball was going to Shakir and he was just bringing it up the field. And the ability today, Rico, to complement the pass game with the run game. James Cook, 17 carries for 111 yards, over 6 yards a carry. They were bleeding the clock, too. It was just a dominant day offensively. They had a time of possession advantage, Rico, of over 17 minutes in this game, 38 to 23, or excuse me, 38 to 21 minutes.
Love it.
Time of possession. I mean, absolute domination. And they were doing it in both phases.
I love that you mentioned that. Do you know, and this is something that's been an issue all year. And we talked about it. I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record. Third down conversions has been atrocious this year. We talked about it. We were hitting at a 33% rate. That's not going to cut it in this league. Today, 8 for 15 on third downs, going for over 50%. That's the Bills offense that I'm used to. And when we're able to go 50%, that tells me we're holding onto the football. That tells me we're sustaining drives. And the clear evidence is what you just said. Time of possession, we had 38 minutes, did you say?
38 minutes to their 22.
38 minutes of time of possession. And guess what? When you look at their 22 minutes, they went for, I think it was something, and they probably got worse. They went 1 for 7.
That's what it was. 1 for 7.
1 for 7 on third downs. And it remained that way. Fellas, that's a big difference in this game. You've got to be able to convert on third downs and make the third downs manageable. That's what it comes down to. Third, that's why you always hear, all right, blah, 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 and they say third and manageable, right? Third and 5s and lower. And that's what we were able to do today. And you saw it. And that's why we put up 31 points on these boys. Time of possession, 38 minutes. We were cooking today, man. Big time shout out to that team. But I got to stick to more on Keon Coleman because it seems as though he's now found his niche. He's found his role on this team. And there's the more trust that Josh has in Keon and the more Joe Brady is creating for him, man, it's only, listen, he might be pushing for a rookie of the year. Keep messing around. He keeps stacking games like this. Keep messing around. I mean, shoot, Jaden Daniels is having a hell of a year, so I might be tripping right now. I might be tripping.
After what he just did 20 minutes ago, he might have locked that up.
I might be out of my pocket right now, but I just feel good about what Keon Coleman is doing. Rookie of the year, I might be stretching a little bit. Let me pull back. But
you're excited. You should be, Rico, because this man's balling right now.
As I should be, because out of all the rookie receivers that have taken, he's the one that's standing out right now amongst a lot of the rookie receivers that are out there. Xavier Worthy being one of them as well, and Roma Donze being another. Right, so the one that could really stand out is Malik Neighbors. Neighbors I think he's still hurt. I don't think he's played yet, but Malik Neighbors has looked the part. Keon Coleman is absolutely looking the part right now. Kudos to him. Kudos to Josh. Kudos to Joe Brady. We got to give him credit. He's got these boys in Brian Thomas Jr. is hooping too. Hey, you can't take away from that.
No doubt.
Can't take away from those. So there's some good rookies this year. And Keon Coleman started off slow. We were like, I don't know if he's that guy. Bro, he's put 2 back-to-back games, 125 yards, 70 yards today, and a touchdown. Boy, you better keep that shit up. You better keep that shit up. I love it. Love what I'm seeing from Keon Coleman. 5 receptions today for 70 yards and a tutty. And that tutty was not a cheap tutty, man.
No.
He went over the back and pinned that with one hand and brought it down. I got to play one clip for you guys because not only is he doing things in the pass game.
Oh, show it.
Not only is he doing things in the pass game. Let me share my screen real quick. Pay attention to this guy. Pay attention to what Keon just did. Well, you going to shove this brother down to the floor and stare at him and point down at him? Well, that's cold. Bang, and then point. Look at you.
How about the play where he drives a guy into the bench? He said, sit down, sir. Take a seat.
Listen, I'm going to look.
I didn't know he had that game like that.
I'll look for that footage. But see, you need that dog in you. You need that type of play from your receivers because it's infectious, right? You put that on tape. You put and your boys see it on the sideline, bro. This guy's come to play. He's come to play. And Tariq Woolen was talking big game. So when you're talking big game, listen, man. I'm a Southern boy, man. I don't play. I'm from Louisiana, baby. I'm from Louisiana, baby. So we don't play that mess, man. You want to play ball? We're gonna play ball, and that's exactly what it did. And Tariq Woolen's not a slouch. Tariq Woolen's a dog. And Keon Coleman was like, bro, I don't care who you are. You're on my turf. You're on my field. We're gonna do this thing, man. Big shout out to Keon Coleman. Listen, I might have to get me another jersey.
You might.
I got my Bedford jersey. I might have to get me a Keon Coleman jersey, baby. Keep playing like that.
One of the best things about that touchdown is that 2 plays prior, they had tried the same type of play to him on the left side as opposed to the right. And Woolen got the best of him, and Woolen was talking shit. 2 plays later, and Keon one-hands his ass, posterizes him. It was so great.
That's exactly what it is. If anybody's played any hoop and watched basketball, when you slam on someone, when you you knock it on them, you either do 2 things. You say, you're too little for me, because he could have did that, or you go like this, on your head top. I caught the ball right on your head, boy. Don't play with me. And that's our guy, Keon Coleman, man. Yo, we got some swag in Buffalo now.
I would agree with you.
Buffalo now.
I would agree with you. You see Keon take the post-game podium. He's got this big furry hat on. These boys are feeling themselves right now. And look, it's no secret, and I don't think it's any coincidence. These last 2 weeks have been the only 2 weeks out of the 8 weeks this season where the Bills have had a 100-plus yard receiver. Why is that? What have they had the last 2 weeks? And a true X receiver to distract and decoy and be an element of the Bills offense that they didn't have to allow the defense to focus in on guys or on one guy as opposed to being able to focus in on Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman almost exclusively, allow themselves to get after Josh Allen easier because they don't have to worry about the presence of a guy like Amari Cooper. To me, it's no secret the last 2 weeks, Amari Cooper is 100% the reason why the Bills have had their best 2 passing weeks in succession. But the interesting thing here is that today, it wasn't because Amari Cooper, numbers-wise, did anything. Amari Cooper had 2 targets the entire day, 1 catch. That's it. 1 catch for 3 yards. But everyone else, in terms of the main focal point of the pass game, is going to be Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, and Dalton Kincaid. And what happened? Kincaid scores a touchdown. Coleman has 5 for 70. He scores a touchdown. And Khalil Shakir has 100-plus yards. Like I mentioned, going into last week, the Bills had not had a 300-yard performance from Allen, and they hadn't had a 100-yard receiver. This is now back-to-back weeks. Last week, Allen over 300. Today, he was at 283, and he sat for half the fourth quarter. He could have easily had 300 yards if he wanted to. So essentially, Rico, with the addition of Amari Cooper now, against 2 defenses, last week the Tennessee Titans had the best overall pass defense going into that game. This defense for the Seahawks, when healthy, is no slouch. Like you just mentioned, doing things against guys like Tariq Woolen. You're not doing it against the scrubs of the league. Keon Coleman's going up and doing that against an elite D-back. So you got back-to-back weeks now against good defenses, where this Buffalo Bills passing attack is going for 300 yards through the air, and they have a 100-plus yard receiver. Amari Cooper, we thought that the addition of him would, of course, bring production from him himself. But we always had thought what the Bills needed was the ability to free everybody else up, and they didn't have that. Now that they have that, this offense seems to be humming, Rico, and that's what's got me most excited, because you're watching 2 weeks in a row here where they were feeling themselves, and like you said, they got some visible swagger going on right now.
Visible swagger. Now, here's my question for a whole lot of folks that are out there. That's a great point you made earlier. We can't beat anybody good. The people that we've beaten are trash. You beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You took on the Cardinals. Good for you. You haven't played anybody. This will be your match okay, bring on the Seahawks then. Okay, now we just whooped them 31-10. Have we still not played anybody? Like, when is it going to be that we play someone?
Right.
The goalposts keep stretching. We got to stop stretching the goalposts. It's hard to win in this league. Go look at the Ravens. That looked unstoppable. The Ravens looked unstoppable, and here come Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston comes in, and you called it, my guy. There's something different about these Browns, and they come in and take down the big, bad Ravens, right? So I don't want to hear nothing about, who do we beat? Listen, every game, you're playing the best of the best in the world in one league, right? I don't want to hear nothing about it. We took care of business on the road in the rain, double R, road and rain, and we handled business. We ran the football, we threw the football, we hit football, we see football, we take football. That's exactly what was happening today.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because people underestimate winning against bad teams. They feel like it's just your birthright that if you're a good team that you're guaranteed to whip a bad team. But that is not the case. The Ravens are now 5-3. 2 of their 3 losses are against the Raiders and the Browns. And today was a brutal loss for Baltimore, because even though they beat the hell out of Buffalo, they're a game behind now because of what they did against a bad team, Rico. How about them Jets, Jets? Was that a good team they played today? Lost to the New England Patriots. Are those guaranteed good W's? You know, it's funny. The last time they played the New England Patriots, everybody the next day was telling you they're back, baby. MVP Rodgers. They haven't won a game since. That team in itself, the Jets, they're terrible, but the Patriots are worse, and the Jets lost to them, right? The Miami Dolphins today. Well, they're going to surely be better with Tua. Yeah, they were, but they weren't good enough. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals, a team that many people think aren't as good as the team at the top of the league. So my point is, when you say, you beat as bad teams or whatever, yeah, but you want to know what the Bills do better than maybe anybody? And I really do feel like this. I think the Bills against, the average teams in the league, the worst teams in the league, they're very rarely going to find a way to have one of those games like the Ravens have had, or like every team seemingly has. They beat the living hell out of you every time. And right now, we only have 2 examples against top teams where the Bills did not play well. You can't argue anything about that Ravens game. It was a shit performance from top to bottom. There's nothing I'm going to sit here and say was positive about that ball game. But it was just one of those games that they had not had in 43 consecutive matchups. So it was bound to happen at some point. It happened. And then you go back to the Houston game, and they just shot themselves in the foot how many times? Terrible coaching. Allen had his worst performance of his career, right? So we want to write him off after those 2 games. But now you're looking at it, and like you said, the goalpost continues to move, because after last week against the Atlanta Falcons, people had the Seattle Seahawks around a bordering top 10 team. And now that the Bills kicked the living hell out of them, they're not considered to be that. The Bills find a way to get it done in dominant fashion against the teams that they should. And now that you're watching them instill their own confidence, they're instilling confidence within themselves, and they're proving that they're better than they were without Amari Cooper. With this offense, the defense stepping up. I don't know. I don't know how you could look at this and be like, it's just the Seahawks, because that was a dominant performance today. Regardless of who they played, that would have worked out against anybody.
I'm gonna tell you this, Hillslayer. I mean, he ever since he got married, man, he's been on some health kick. He said no to Taco Bell. He said no to McDonald's. He's looking slim, baby.
You're gonna feel really bad that you just said that, because guess what I did? Guess what the first thing I did was after that Bills victory?
Taco Bell,
I
baby.
ordered a taco 12-pack for myself. It's sitting downstairs in the kitchen.
For myself, he
So
says.
I had a 40% off Uber Eats code, and Caroline's at work, and there's like no food in the house. I go, you know what? We're celebrating this dub, baby. We're eating a W. I ordered a taco 12-pack. It's sitting down there. It's hilarious.
Taco 12 warmed up, put it in the air fryer, you're good to go.
I love it.
Let me tell you this. As we celebrate, and you'll be celebrating later with some tacos at Taco 12, I'm looking at the AFC right now, and it's we got to celebrate, man. The Kansas City Chiefs being at 7-0. I don't want to hear about who did they beat. They're 7-0. That's what matters at the end of the day. Being 7-0. Houston 6-2, barely got away with it today. Barely.
Oh, dude, did you see how hosed Indy got?
I listen. I did not watch a whole lot. Like I said, I was at a kid's birthday party and came straight home to watch the game.
So, right? Real quick, I'll tell you what happened. Indy forced. So Joe Mixon drops a pitch. CJ Stroud pitches the ball to Joe Mixon. It goes off of his shoulder pad. He fumbles it. The Colts pick it up and return it for a touchdown. But they ruled it a fumble, obviously, but they overturned the touchdown because there was like a pinky toe from a Texans player that touched the guy who recovered the fumble before he got back up, dude.
That would have been game.
It would have been game. It was gnarly, bro. They got screwed.
Buddy, that would have been great because the Bills would have been second place. Yeah. Listen, I'll take it anyway because I truly feel that we're the better team. And by the way, I saw that Stephon Diggs got hurt.
It's not non-contact, Rico. It could be something. Yeah, unfortunately.
I was watching our guy Thigh Dog. Thigh Dog says it could be two things. The best case scenario, it's a meniscus. Whether it's a meniscus tear, you're out a few weeks, 4 weeks, I'm not sure, or it's an ACL. That would be a big blow. Listen. Say what you want about Stephon Diggs. The guy's a player, and that would suck if he blew out his knee and it was an ACL at age 30. Oh, it's not the same, man. It really isn't the same. But that's not our problem right now. Right now, we're living la vida loca right now.
Let me tell you the type of life we're living right now, Rico. If you added up all of the wins that the Jets currently have, the Dolphins currently have, and the Patriots currently have, if you added the sum total of all three of the other teams in the AFC East, you would have the exact same amount of wins that the Bills themselves have. The Bills right now 6-2. I'll just go ahead and show you right now because it's a beautiful thing, folks.
It is a beautiful thing. Let's go ahead and take a look. As you go ahead and prop that up for us. Listen, I gotta look. I'm looking at what we've been able to do this year thus far, and looking at the teams that we have to face. The next team that we face are the Miami Dolphins. We face Tua again, and I'm like, dude, he's gonna have PTSD. No mas, please, senor, no mas. He's gonna turn Espanol on us, man. Like, bro, sorry, gotcha. You're back to playing the Bills, man. You can't avoid us. You know what I mean? So next time, slide your ass, man. Slide.
Look at this, Rico.
God.
First of all, the Dolphins have not scored 100 points this season. The Bills have scored 230. Okay. That right there is absolutely insane. Not a single one of these teams has cracked 150 points this year. The Bills have 230. Right now, the Bills have a point differential of 84, I believe.
They're second in the league.
Yeah, second in the league.
Only to the Lions that are plus 100.
And the Lions right now, over their last 4 games, are averaging 40 points per game. The Lions, to me, right now look like the best team in football. They did it again today. I mean, what they did to Tennessee, it did top what the Bills did to Tennessee last week. The Lions had 42 points with 12 minutes left in the third quarter today against the Tennessee Titans. But that's what the level of beatdowns the Bills are also delivering as well. I mean, that's what they're doing right now. But when you look at this, I mean, this to me, frame this up so I can tap it, put it on my wall, and I'll tap it every time I walk out of my door like they do at Notre Dame coming out of the locker room. The New York, the J-E-10, that is a Jets first down. That is a Jets last mother effing place in the AFC East. The denouement of the season occurred today with those bum-ass Jets. Unbelievable. Look at this. It's just, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I love the fact that you brought in the denouement. You're clever. You're clever. Listen, folks, it's just nice to be on the winning side. And the Bills, they came out of this game unscathed, unhurt. Mm-hmm. We now get healthier. And my goodness, the window for Matt Milano to come back and play is going to be coming soon. So we could get him back. I don't know when. I'm sure there's not going to be any rush because Dorian Williams has done a fantastic job so far. My man, Dr. Spaghetti, would say bot with vocabulary.
Oh, dude, we're going to be using that till the end of time. I can't get over it. The fact that they lost that game today, I mean, it's coming off of a week where the Patriots' own coach told his team they were soft. I mean, that's how bad things were in New England. And this Jets team, dude, I'm at a loss for words. The overall elation this brings me, the overall satisfaction this brings me. And afterwards, after the game, Aaron Rodgers is like, I've been to the dark. You just got to accept it. And it's like, man, this is watching the Bills do what they do. And then watching that it's almost like the Bills are the steak and then the Jets getting what they're getting going for them. Right. That's like the really solid side dish. It just caps everything off. It's beautiful.
Listen, before we get into more points, let's take a couple of super chats and then we'll get into some points here. We got Signified Note says, yo, Rico, how can you be a Buffalo fan and wearing a Senator's hat?
You've been getting ripped for that, Rico.
What's that?
You've been getting ripped for that. It's like the third time I've seen this.
I just don't understand it. Folks, you guys have to understand, I am not from Buffalo. I'm Canadian. I am from Ottawa. Ottawa is my city, born and raised. I got a rep for my Sens. Even though they blow, I still got a rep for the Sens, and the hat is fire. I'm not going to sit there and explain to y'all. And what the hell the Buffalo Sabres done? Are they doing anything special? Last time I checked, Pagula's trying to avoid being the Buffalo Sabres. He likes the Buffalo Bills where they are. All right. So don't talk to me about damn Sabres. Anyway, another super chat coming in from my man, Dan Echo. What up, Dan? Dan says, yo, juggernaut win in the slop. Chiefs, we're coming for you. Hit that hole, Rico.
So speaking of those Chiefs, again, these Chiefs, man, these Chiefs. So today, I don't know if you saw the Chiefs. They beat the Raiders, but there was a point in the game where they were. It was 17-13, Rico. And Mahomes threw a pick in their own end zone. The Raiders returned it to the 1 yard line, Rico. They could not get in the end zone. The Raiders, four attempts from the 1 yard line, they could not score. That's just what the Chiefs do. It's unbelievable. And yet here they are. Once again, another win. They're still undefeated.
That's why you can't get rid of Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs gets that ball in the end zone. Zaire White ain't going to do it. Sorry. Not going to do it, man. And y'all deserve to lose, Raiders. Like, listen, you didn't do a good enough job to get yourself a damn quarterback, number one. You could have lured Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco would have been perfect for y'all. But no, that one with freaking Gordon Minshew, Gardner Gordon, whatever the hell his name is, and Aiden O'Connell is a bum. Golly, man. No wonder Devontae wanted out of there. But neither.
Oh, yeah, he sure went and he went and bettered his situation.
Oh,
yeah, big time.
And he wants to re-sign. On top of that, he wants to resign. Are you nuts? Anyways, Signified Notes comes back and says, yo, another week, another embarrassment for the offseason. AFC East champs, New York Jets, and Miami Dolphins.
See, I love this. Everybody's like me, where they're enjoying this as much as I am. Like, it's almost equal to the Bills' W at this point that people are enjoying with the Jets.
As you should. Anytime that you have a division foe go up against each other and one beats the other. And I mean, something told me when your coach calls you out against and says you're soft. On top of that, you're playing a team that has Aaron Rodgers. That's a filth. I actually don't mind Aaron Rodgers, but him as his demeanor, it just turns you off. So you want to whoop that ass. And that's exactly what the Patriots did. Coach did what he's supposed to do. You guys are soft. Now show me that you're not soft. Oh, by the way, the Jets are coming to town. So let's see what's good. Division game. And boy, did they ever not disappoint. Big time. William Oliver. What up, William O? He says, yo, this defense is beyond injury good. Gentlemen, they are, man. Even with banged up, even with guys that are not superstars, we're still getting the job done, which tells you that system works. The defensive system works, and it's doing wonders right now.
Yeah, if you bring it real quick, the point he made, I really like, because if you watch today, there's nothing about that Bills defense that makes you know that they don't have Bernard, they don't have Milano, Von Miller is suspended. You would have no clue. Like, if you were to watch that without any knowledge of the Bills' injury situation or their personnel situation, there's nothing about that defense that tells you that they're banged up. So to his point, it is getting to the point, I think, at certain moments with this defense where they show you that despite the injury, I think that they can stack up. That's why when we got in this argument on Friday night with people kind of calling the defense out, I just didn't understand it. I understand that there are portions of the defense that struggle. And that's been the run. It's been the short game. But man, collectively throughout the year, I don't really have many complaints. This Bills defense has been stepping up. This afternoon, for example, Rico, it's the first time in 4 games the Bills allowed a second half touchdown, and it was in garbage time. They're doing it when it counts the most. Stats be damned, man. They're finding a way to get it done, and that is with the injuries. And like you mentioned earlier, when it's going to matter the most, Bernard's going to be out there. Milano's going to be out there. Hopefully, Von Miller. I mean, I'm excited. It's all hell.
I love that you said that. Stats be damned, because sometimes you can't look at stats. It's what happens at the end of the day. Did I force you into a position that you gave me the ball back, or I take the ball away from you? So I'm going to give you, and it's football is a game of chess. It's a game of chess. I give you this look, right? Why do you think every quarterback after each play, or after a bad play or great play, they go back to that tablet and look, be like, okay, so that's what they did here. So on 3rd and long, they went into a dime protect. Okay, I see. They went a dime, and that's what they did. They brought okay, so next time I'm going to do that. So now as a coordinator, they're like, dude, same thing, but this time we're not going to bring the blitz. We're going to sit. We're going to make it look like we're doing it, and we're not. It's a game of chess, baby. And what you have to make sure that you do is sometimes you got to give a little, right? So you can take the game. If you've ever played chess in your lifetime, I don't know if you've ever played chess. Chess is great, or checkers. I would say checkers too. But chess, sometimes you got to give up your pawns. Mm-hmm. You got to give up a couple pawns so you can trap that ass. And that's exactly what the Bills defense has been doing. We're going to give you a couple pawns. Here, have a 50-yard bomb. Here, have a 25-yard rip. You know what I mean? We gave you that. All right, try it now. Oh, you weren't able to get that. Oh, hold on a second. There's an interception. Oh, there's a punt. Third, listen, man, you got to play the game. That's the way the game is played. That's why Andy Reid is so good on offense, right? That's why these juggernauts, when you say Bill Belichick going up against Andy Reid or McDermott again, bro, it's just a game of back and forth, cat and mouse, and who's going to give up first. And this is where once the game plan's set, it's about who's better in terms of player personnel. That's when I got to whoop your tail, you got to whoop my tail, and who's going to get the job done. And I can't, listen, man, bring on the Dolphins, man. I am stoked for I like the way this game is being played. I like how the Bills are playing right now. Josh Allen's calm, cool, and collected. He's feeling good. He threw for 280 yards, and he could have went for more.
And I'm kind of glad he threw the pick. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of sick. Like, there's something about streaks, Rico, where I feel better once they're over. Because I feel like that it starts to become something you think about. And then you might be doing things you wouldn't do because of it. So I think it was almost a benefit that they threw the pick today, too. Throw that in there to me as a positive because it's out of the way and no one gives a shit about it.
You know what, it's not bad. And you know what? The interception he threw, I mean, had Amari Cooper not like
he fell down.
Flipped.
Yeah.
Bro, that's probably a reception. That was a pitch and catch, really, because he didn't look anywhere else. It was just one read and go. Now, maybe not the best read, but I'm expecting my guy to beat him on an inside slant. That's a no-brainer. And it was a slip, good play by the defender, and then the red zone mishaps. The red zone mishaps, those hurt. Alton Venezuela comes in with a super chat and says, hey, what's good, Bot Rico? Let's go.
Hey, what up, baby?
Big Dubs just left the game, and Bills Mafia took over Lumen Field. Dude,
nice.
You went all the way to Seattle.
Yeah, Alton was telling me the other day, no, he lives in Seattle, so this was a homer.
Oh, it's a home game.
And, man, you were treated to a good one, and I hope you weren't affected by the rain too much, but it was almost, it reminds me of last year I went to the Dallas Cowboys game in Buffalo, and it was a rainy mess, and the Bills kicked their ass. So when the weather's crap, it doesn't matter. When the Bills are rolling, man, it's almost more fun when the weather's crap. So hope you had a good time, man. You were treated to a hell of a game, and I hope the Seahawks fans weren't too bitter towards you because, man,
I love every bit of it. And I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to Dr. Joaquin Wallace. He went to his first ever Bills game in Seattle, and what a game he was treated to. So shout out to a guy, Joaquin Wallace, the Pullout King. What up, Pullout King? We haven't seen you in a minute, bro. He says, let's go. He's excited. We got another one from GQ Bob, Cheddar Bob comes in and says, Keon has more yak in 8 games than Gabe Davis' entire career with Buffalo.
Is that right?
You're a savage.
Wow.
You are a savage. Upgrade? Yes, sir. The league allowed the Bills to get Keon Coleman. Ooh, I got to give you some love for that. We got another one, another super chat coming in from my guy, Mikey the Time Lord. It says, Mikey goes, hey, Rico, with how the standings are as it stands, do you think they could sew up the division? Oh, what does that say? Sew up the division way earlier by Thanksgiving. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just waiting for a couple more games of the win, a couple more wins of the category. You're going to see that little X that says playoff clinch. I don't know if it's an X or a Y, but it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be probably in history. First time the Bills or any team has clinched a division this quickly, right? So now at that point, which I kind of like and I don't like, because now you're like, okay, you've clinched the division. How do you play going forward? Like, do you play carefree, careless? Like, I got the division, so we can just kind of chill. Or do we work on things? I don't know how that works out, but all I care about is staying healthy into the playoffs, and then we start making some noise. I love what I'm seeing from the Bills. Let's keep it up. Mikey the Timeler, appreciate that super chat, and we go from there. So, Z-Bot, I got a question for you, bro.
Sure.
So, watching this game, when we first game starts, and 3 and out by the Seahawks, the first 3 and out, are you like, okay, I'm liking what we see. This is great. Was there concern when Gino started cooking a little bit? He was just hitting here, hitting there, hitting here. And they get into the red zone. I was like, okay, this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be a big back and forth. Here we go. And then the mishap. Now, are you looking at this defense like, oh, I didn't like how they just easily went through that? Because at least for me, that's what I thought. What were you thinking when Gino was kind of cooking? Because he went 21 for 29 today. Only 8 incompletions. So given what you saw in the game and what you know, how are you feeling in those moments where he was moving up the field? And were you kind of, oh, I don't like that from the defense? What were your thoughts?
So weird, because as nervous as I thought I was going into this game, I was not nervous at all the second it started. Like, once the Bills defense forced that quick 3 and out, dominant up on the front line, being able to get in on Gino in the beginning of the game there, and it just felt like they didn't have anything. And then the Bills walked down the field. And then the way that they did it, it was like dominant. The amount of time they were able to run off the clock. I had no nervousness. I have no nerves in this game, really, oddly enough. It just felt like the vibe created early on in the game was that the Bills had their stuff. You could tell offensively they were in their bag. And then defensively, it just felt like it was what we're accustomed to, where there's going to be times throughout the game where teams get yards, but what are you going to be able to do in terms of capitalizing on it? And they just weren't able to do it. Now, I will say the only time I was a bit concerned was after the interception, because it was able to put them right into scoring position. And when they were able to get past that, it was over to me, honestly. Like, I don't know what it was specifically about this game, but from the beginning, when the Bills were able to stifle the Seahawks offense early and then put together that drive in the beginning of the game, which I thought the Bills had some of their best drives of the season in this game alone. Just the ability to outwill them for a long, sustained drive, including, I know they had to settle for a field goal on the drive, Rico, in the beginning of the second half. But that one, too, where you're milking 7 minutes off the clock. So to answer your question, it was an early game relief for me, oddly enough, because I was pretty nervous going into this game. The nerves were relieved. I could just tell early on the Bills had it in gear. And that never really went away from me. And they proved it throughout the duration of the football game, man. They never let up.
It's absolutely facts, man. And in a way, I did feel the same way you felt, where I don't know. It's a sports thing. It's a fan thing. And it's also like a PTSD thing where like we were so used for 20 years when obviously Tom Brady was in the division. You're like, okay, so like how far deep in the hole are we going to be? Okay, we gotta catch up and get out of this hole. But since we've had Josh Allen, bro, we're that team. When I say that team, we're that team that we're a good damn team. So we can't go into expecting being nervous. I think it's the old ways of being nervous. But like, this team is too good for us to be nervous, man. It's just a matter of executing like we've done. And when you got Josh Allen, you shouldn't have to worry about anything. You think the Patriots ever worried when Tom Brady was on the center? Heck no, man. They're just ready to go. So these Bills, although when this game started, I was like, what the hell am I worried about? And I saw them defending Kenneth Walker, defending the pass, and no DK on top of that. Gino was getting frustrated. He was falling on his ass. I was like, bro, we got this, but we just got to keep it up. And the offense absolutely did. Josh Allen was dialed in, making the right calls, right decisions. There were some moments where he ran the football. I was like, dude, why? Why do that? Why do that? Like, he ran the ball one time, and I was like, okay, design run. I don't care if it's a design run, but, dude, don't take hits like that. Slide, please, and thank you. Like, this guy makes me hold my breath sometimes because something happens to that brother, it's over. It's a wrap. He's got to stay healthy. But this offense is starting to gel right now, and I'm loving it. Now, Talk to me about James Cook today. James freaking Cook, Jimbo, Himbo, whatever you want to call it. His game today, doesn't it make you look at this team and say, man, we haven't even hit our peak yet. And we could get better, especially with that run game. How'd you feel about James Cook's performance today?
Efficient. I think that was the key. When I looked back, I didn't realize that he had 111 yards with 6.5 yards per carry. But then when you think back on it, he did. It's just there wasn't those moments where he's ripping off a 25-yarder or whatever. And that's honestly what I prefer. I would much rather have what they had today than him having the same stat line, but he had like a 35-yard carry that factored into, about a third of his yards. This today, that 6.5 yard per carry, Rico, that stat can sometimes be inflated, of course, on a major run or something. That was pretty much true to what you were getting every carry. The offensive line today was brilliant for the Buffalo Bills. They did not allow anyone to get after Josh Allen, and they did not allow anyone to blow up the run game right off the line of scrimmage like we've seen a little bit recently here. I thought that was a problem last week why the Bills were so poor on third down in the beginning of the game, because we talked about this on Friday. The Bills are at their best when they hand the ball off to James Cook on first and second down, and then it winds up being 3rd and 2. Right. And then you're guaranteed to get a first down over the next 2 plays because you're either going to get it right there or you get another yard and then Josh Allen sneaks it, which is exactly what they did at one point in the game today, where they got a 4th down with Josh Allen sneaking it. So that's what you got today. And that's what I think is the best part of this Bills team. And what did they end up doing today that we talked about on Friday night as well, that we thought they would do a lot of? Play action. They had that run game going so well that the play action was being developed. And that's when they got those big passes down the field to Shakir, a couple to Coleman. So it's so complimentary. And that's what the biggest piece of James Cook's game is. It's allowing this team that's built around Josh Allen to open up tenfold. If you don't have the run game that they've recently had the last 2 years, then you see what they are. They're Allen throwing the ball 40 times a game, hoping that they're going to hit home runs. And that's not what this team is anymore. So watching James Cook today, I think it's the epitome of the domination in which the Bills showed today. They just dominated the line of scrimmage. James Cook took advantage, and then Josh Allen took advantage of what came from that. And that was the pass game being completely open, because they had to respect what James Cook was bringing. They had to respect Amari Cooper and him being out on the field. So when you have all these little elements going together, Rico, which they're doing right now, this is one of the best offenses in the league, point blank. And you're seeing it on display week in and week out. And James Cook today, a pivotal factor in the Bills' ability to just be utterly dominant for 60 minutes on offense.
I absolutely love it. And here's the thing that's crazy to me. There was, and we got to give, with all the success that the Bills had today, Joe Brady called a good game today.
I agree completely.
Let's give it to Joe Brady, because we've been on his ass sometimes where it's like, okay, Joe, you got to be better. Stop being so predictable. Now there was a offensive sequence that I even tweeted this out earlier today. It was a big play to Khalil Shakir. I think it was actually the biggest play. I think it was that 25. What was it? What's it clear?
It was that beautiful ball Allen threw. It was a perfectly thrown ball.
Allen threw him a beautiful ball, and he caught it, makes a play, and it was like, I don't know if it was 2nd and long or 3rd and long, but the point is first down. Okay. Typically, you get a huge play like that, everybody's got to run up the field and let down. So you want to give your guys a gasser or a bit of a time to kind of catch their breath. Normally you run the ball. No. Keon Coleman, Joe Brady calls for play action because the run game has been so effective. Play action, and we were able to hit somebody on the sideline again. I was like, yes, that's what we're looking for. Like, you need to be so unpredictable that, like Tom Brady said, which he did an excellent job calling the game today. You have these guys on skates. You don't know what they're gonna call, and that's exactly the type of offense that we need, man. So big time shout out to Joe Brady and what James Cook was able to do and how great he was. And you alluded to it perfectly. Those 6.5 yards that he was getting per carry, you actually saw them happen, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a 65-yard rip and then, he had 100 yards, but he had that one long run. And after that, he was trashed. Nah, he was patient. He was slipping through these fits that I was like, how did he even get through there? And
Dude, there was a run where he pushed the lineman in front of him to allow him to give it. It was amazing. I was like, wow.
Buddy, it was a work of art what James Cook was able to do. And I'll tell you this right now, man. James and Ray Davis, that 1-2 punch, I honestly truly believe that James Cook has been watching what Ray Davis has been doing and the success he's been having, getting more vertical. And it's so freaking crazy because I'm sitting here ready to tweet that love what James Cook is doing, but I need him to be a little more vertical. And the minute I was about to press tweet, right, Tom Brady's like, man, if James Cook could just get more vertical, I'm like, golly, that's exactly right. This South and this East and West is great because you got the speed for it, but he's such a dynamic back, bro. If you just southwest, you mean, or you mean a northeast, just up more, then you'll be great. But love what my man's doing, done a great job, and it's got this team like just an even keel, man. Like, yo, you don't know what the Bills are gonna do. This is a dangerous Bills team right now. This is a dangerous Bills team right now because we got a balanced run game. We have a pass game that's only going to get better, and you don't know how much better it can get. And Amari Cooper hasn't really even gotten the mix yet. So wait till that brother's in the mix, bro. It's going to be fun to watch these Bills, man. And on top of that, these boys get healthy. Better watch out. I think Von Miller is back next week.
Yes.
I think he served his 4-game done. He's back next week. Boy, let's go, man.
He gets the greet to at home. I mean, I don't know what the strategy will be there with Von, but he will be available next week.
My man Jeff King says, yo, give Brady the offseason to work with Cooper, Josh, and the rest of the offense. Damn, they're going to be dangerous.
Jeff, Absolutely. Don't you be talking to me about no offseason right now, okay? We're going to be getting these boys ready in season right now.
In season, baby.
Come on, Jeff. Right now, damn it. And you're watching it. They're doing it right now.
What's Danny Foster saying?
Donnie's telling me, Josh, I love how aggressive he is in running the ball, but it makes me nervous. All it takes is one good hit and boom, season done. I really wish he would slide or just not take them chances. There were a couple of runs today that I didn't love. There was a designed run. Near the end zone that I hated. It was 2nd and 10. And I'm like, I just hated it. It was 2nd and 10. It was a terrible spot to run that. And he ran right into a guy. And then that one earlier in the game, it wasn't a design run. He scrambled out of the pocket and got hit. I mean, look, I get what you're saying, Donnie, and you know how I feel about it. I don't want Allen taking hits either. But I will say lately, I mean, once again today, if you go and look, this is the most I think Allen's run in weeks. He hasn't been doing this a whole lot. And I think a lot of it had to do today with the weather being what it was. Because you could tell it was affecting him early on in the game. The ball was slipping out. Hell, don't you remember that he literally went Lionel Messi on them boys today and kicked the ball up in front of the first down marker. And the Bills recovered it for a first down, which is insane. But there were a couple of throws that slipped out. That ball right there on the fumble slipped out. So I think maybe that factored into him running a bit. I totally agree with you, but I've noticed throughout the season here, it seems like they do it. He is put in that position far less than he used to be. And when he is, running the ball, it's usually in big moments, either 4th down or when they desperately need a first down. He's got to run for it. Today, Rico, I will say the one thing I didn't love, that he seemed to run a bit more than he needed to today. I feel like all the rest of the games beforehand, that wasn't really the case.
Seems like he's probably feeling himself. His hand is getting a little healthier, so he's probably feeling himself a little bit.
That's true. I don't think he had the glove on today, did he?
I know he had the glove on. He didn't take it off yet. He didn't take it off yet.
He might wear it forever, honestly.
My man Jeff King says, yo, I'm a realist bot. You know that. I'm loving it right now. Great showing today on the road and shit weather against a good team. And he's right, man. It's one of those things where on the road is so tough to win in the first place. And now you got to put adverse weather. And this is why when it comes back to it, when Brandon Beane could have drafted anybody else, everybody moved up and grabbed Josh Allen for this reason, because he can play in adverse weather and you can see it and it's evident as we speak. Side note. Now, this is really sweet. This is sweet as can be. Caitlin Blount. Not sure if you figured out the Chase thing yet, but this is for you and your family, Z-Bot. Go Bills. How sweet is that?
The sweetest.
That is absolutely amazing.
Caitlin, thank you so much. Also, there's been so many people who have left a comment or said something. So thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
That's cool.
It hasn't been figured out yet, unfortunately. Hopefully soon. The Bills W definitely making it, making me feel better. But I really appreciate that, Kate, and everybody else as well who has reached out. And I will keep you apprised for sure on any updates that I end up getting, because I know. I feel like people are invested now, as
Oh,
I
they
would
are.
be too, because it's a crazy ass story, man. No question.
Listen,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was going to share a crazy stat, but I wanted you to go ahead and.
Well, last thing, and then you can share your crazy stat. I told the wifey about that. She was livid.
Oh yeah.
I was
What'd
like,
she say?
settle. She was like, if it was me, I'd be up there. And I was like, settle down, relax there, mama be over here. It's gonna get settled. He's like, no, it's not. And I would have been, I was like, I told him those very things that you're saying. I mean, I would have, she's like, no, I would have been in my PJs that minute. I wouldn't have been on the phone. I would have, I was like, okay, you know, I should have never told you because now you can
tell her to drive her ass up here and she can go work. We'll pay her by the hour. Get up there and go to work.
Before she became Mama Bear and working from home and doing the daycare, she worked at the bank. And her mother worked at the bank. She knows all about that mess. She's like, no, somebody messed up. Somebody messed up.
Oh, that's evident. That's evident.
It is what it is. Her facial expression is definitely not like that. And she always hates when I do this. That's not what I look like. And that's not what I sound like. And I'm doing it now. But it's just what it is.
Well, that's how you drive the point home. You're driving the point home that she was pissed off.
You drive the point home just like that. And that's what she said. And she made it say, yeah. Like, anyway. What were you going to say? You're going to drop a crazy stat for me.
Well, yeah, because that situation I'm going through is absolutely absurd. I thought this stat was absurd because the Bills did something today, Rico, that they have not done in 6 years. What do you think that might be? I'm putting you on the spot. Like, what would be one thing, man, that you saw today that hasn't happened? And I bet you don't guess it because I wouldn't have guessed it's been this long either. But it just
haven't done in 6 years.
It hasn't been done since
offensively, defensively. Can I get a hint?
Offensively, it has not been done since 2018. This was something tweeted out by Matt Warren, who is with SB Nation, and he's also my.
I don't know. You better give me that stat because I have no idea.
Sure. The Bills today had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in the same game for the first time since 2018, when Josh Allen ran for 100 and Robert Foster had 104 yards receiving against the Jets.
Josh's rookie year?
2018, Josh's rookie year. This is the first game since Allen's rookie year that they've had a 100-yard receiver and runner and rusher in the same game.
And with ease. And you know what? If Josh played a little bit longer, we would have had a 100-yard rusher and 200-yard receivers. If you really think about it, because Keon Coleman had 70 yards. He could have.
Oh, you're right. If they stayed in, I mean, Allen could have had it with 300 plus minimum. Coleman could have had, no doubt about it. I mean, like you said, it was pretty easy. Like it was just they glided on it. But would you have guessed 6 years, man? That's crazy, right?
Listen, man, time absolutely flies.
But does that not show you how complete of a team that they have become compared to what they were? Because they didn't have the ability to run for 100 yards with a guy. They didn't have an X receiver before Diggs, and then shortly after Diggs here, like they didn't have the pieces to be able to do that. That wasn't the way that they were built. And funny enough, that stat that I just shared with you, who was the 100-yard rusher in the only other game that they did this with throughout Josh Allen's career? It was Josh Allen. So this is the only time it's been done with a running back. It just goes to show you how much different of a team they are now.
So so there's some things that I want to ask you, and I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Sure.
And you probably already used a couple, but that doesn't matter. We're gonna see if we can. I'm trying to write this down here so we hate it. So in this game, there was things that we obviously love and things that we hate and things that are like, man, we got to work on that. So if I were to put you on the spot and I ask you, what did you love? What you loved in this game?
Oh, wow.
What stands out to you that you're like, you know what? I absolutely love that.
Wow, there was a lot.
You can go tip for tat. You can give me one and I'll give you one.
Sure. Yeah, there was a lot to love today. I loved the ability to control the football game with the time of possession. That to me is something that I think is huge. Their ability, and it kind of goes back to the stat I just shared, their ability to do offensively what they did today is going to be insanely tough to stop against anybody. When you're able to get the air game going and collaborate that with the running attack that they had today, it leads to what happened. And that is them having the ball for the vast majority of this football game. What I loved was their ability right before the half, Rico. They ran the ball down their throat and passed the ball down their throat. They just drove the ball down their throat before the half. Unfortunately, they had to settle for a field goal, right? They weren't able to get into the end zone. But they did score right before the half. They scored a touchdown right before the half.
They did.
Yeah, so I'm confusing the two drives. What I'm getting at is their ability to do that before the half, go all the way down the field, destroy the clock, then get in the end zone, then go right into half, come out of half, getting the ball, and do the exact same thing. I know they had to settle for a field goal, but that sequence right there, Rico, was dominant. To go into the half that way and then to set the tone again, because you know how coming out of a half, sometimes games can flip. They made sure right out of the half that they were going to continue to dictate that football game, and I loved it.
I love that you said that because it stood out very much to me as well. Scott Easter, and this is, I put it in the chat, guys. Use your hashtags loved, hate. Tell me what you loved, and then we'll get into what we hated. But Scott comes in. I loved that Josh Allen threw for 3 passes that were over 20 yards on a rope. That's unreal these days. And you love to see it. You love to see Josh throwing the ball deep. Like every time I see this guy lean back, I mean, as a defender, right? When I play ball, and our coach, our defensive coach was like, if you want to get a jump on the ball, you got to watch for certain things. And it was always, don't wait for the ball to get in the air and then try to make some things happen. Watch that quarterback shoulder. If he dips that shoulder, right, he's going deep. He's ready to uncork that thing. So get on, turn your hips and get to your spots, right? So it's always love to see. So when I see Josh pop that shoulder back, I was like, oh, he's about to hit somebody. And he had 3 great long balls thrown. You love to see it.
Here's what that they've struggled very much so in that department, Rico. So that was nice to see today, especially that ball to Shakir, man. That thing was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And here's the thing, I'm gonna keep going on that because I don't care. I mean, I gotta say it, man. I love the connection that he's building with Keon Coleman. I think it's huge because think about it. That was our first pick in the draft, and the first pick in the draft. Some might call it a late first or a first, however you want to call it. It's a second round pick, or it's a first round, but it's late. Who cares how you want to call it? The fact of the matter is this: too often, I mean, we haven't picked drafted a receiver in the first round since I can't remember the last time, right? So this is the first time they probably drafted one in the first round, other than Kincaid. He's a tight end, and it's working. So the fact of the matter is this: we drafted someone, and that person that we're using is actually being utilized. I love it. Love to see it.
Think about it like this, to your point, Rico. They drafted Kincaid, touchdown today. Drafted Cook, touchdown today. Drafted Coleman, touchdown today. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I love that.
Man, the draft class, the people that we've drafted and we brought to this team are contributing. And that's what you want. And you can build through that. So that's what I'm going to love. I'm going to put you on the hot seat, man. What did you hate?
Oh, that ain't no hot seat at all, Rico. That's the easiest answer of the day. These refs anymore, I simply, for the love of Christ, I cannot take it anymore. They are ruining this sport that I love so much, that I've dedicated far too much of my life to. They are ruining it. And it's not just the calls on Buffalo. Or not just the calls on Buffalo I'm bitching about. It's the calls on Seattle, too. Like when Gino Smith throws the football, coming off the sideline, he throws the football at one of the Bills players, 15-yard penalty. What are we doing anymore? You know, it's not like he punched a guy across the face or he whipped the ball at him. It's just all of this stuff to me is so ticky-tack. 90% of it is total BS. Rico, in this game, mind you, the Jets game against the Bills on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago, that was the sole game this year with the most flags, the most penalty yards in a single game. Today, 2 weeks removed from that game, Rico, the Bills are in a game once again where they are able to miraculously outdo what was done on that Monday night game, which was absolutely insane. Rico, in this game, there were 24 accepted penalties with 167 yards of penalties. There was a flag on the ground what seemed like every other play. It is a joke. It's not just this game. It's damn near every game you tune into, every major play. Now you have to sit back and not even enjoy it because you're looking around for a flag. It's ruining the suspense. It's ruining the entertainment factor, and it's ultimately ruining the game. And I'm telling you once again, it's not just the calls that are against the Bills that piss me off. It's the BS for the other teams too. It slows the game down. These guys get in the middle of the field now. They convene over every flag. Let's have a little tea party and discuss whether or not we want to call it. It's bullshit. 90% of these flags do not need to be thrown. Now, I know today there was a handful of them, like the hit to Josh Allen. People were saying, oh, Allen sold that one. No, he got blasted in the head. That is a roughing the passer. Fine. If the guy gets blasted in the head, fine. But how many times did you just see a flag get thrown and you're thinking to yourself, man, like, I don't know. For instance, for the Bills there, when they called the blindside block on the Coleman catch there, It's just a block, dude.
Get out of here, man.
Block.
Blindside.
I mean, what the hell are we doing? And then they called offensive pass interference on Coleman on that play. He didn't do shit either. So it's ridiculous to me. It's not just in the Bills game. It's league wide. We bitched about it the other night for an hour about the Vikings game and how many flags there were in that game just to not call the most blatant flag of the night on the face mask. It pissed me off to no end again today, Rico. It's happening nonstop, and I've had enough of it. It is beyond frustrating, and they're not willing to do anything about it, and that's what the worst part of it is.
I'm so glad you said it. And I set you up. You were waiting for me to give that to you.
Oh yeah, dude, that was Wade to LeBron right there. I mean, I was waiting to dump that out.
You knocked that one out, and I cannot agree further, dude. 13 penalties today for 85 yards. We thought that a couple games back against the Jets, I think it was the Houston Texans, I can't recall, but the penalties did not stop. 13 penalties today for 85 yards. Now, some of them were granted. I get it.
Yeah.
But some, just pick up your flag and let these boys play. The blindside block, you barely nudged him. You nudged him. Like if he took his head off, all to it. That's fine. He peeled back and he what's the word I'm looking for? Targeted him. He didn't target whatsoever.
He blocked him, Rico. He blocked him. Just saying how it was. He blocked his
man.
It's just that the dude fell down.
Ball. Let these boys play ball. I get sick of it, man. Whether you want to call Allen flop artist or not, that's a hit to the head. It is what it is. Now, I'm going to come back to what I hated because there's a few things that I hated, but I'm going to go back to what I loved. And call me petty, but I kind of enjoyed watching the Seattle Seahawks melt down a little bit. I call it what you will. I kind of like it.
Crazy, dude. I have never seen this.
You got these two fools sitting there arguing with one another on national TV, and they're about to fight each other.
Dude, man, they do fight each other on the sideline. They literally do.
Wait for that shit on the sideline, then read me out all you want. But you can't be doing this on the field while the camera's on you. What y'all arguing about? And what it was is when Allen got hit. We're talking about that very hit.
If the drive would have ended, extended the drive. I think that's why he was bitching at him.
So Buddy's like, yo, you can't be an idiot. Be smart. What are you doing? What are you doing? So if you hit the quarterback, yo, man up and say, yo, my bad. But he's probably like, yo, you ain't gonna disrespect me like that, so you better get out of my face. Love to see it. I'm petty like that. I love to see it. You know what I'm saying? And Josh is just sitting there. And the worst part is, it's the Bills players that come and break it up.
How funny is that?
The Bills players come and break it up. All right, fellas.
Like a bouncer. He just looks like a bouncer. He walks in like he's like, break it up, fellas.
Deion Dawkins came in. All right, fellas, man. I'm still trying to whoop y'all ass, man. The game's not over. I still got 31 to hang on y'all. Can y'all move it? We got points to put on you, man. Get to pushing, right? So what I loved, the pettiness in me loves when I see players getting at each other because their miscommunication is off or one guy does a bozo play, and we capitalize. The Bills absolutely capitalized.
I'll tell you what,
mistakes.
Rico, the Bills. Okay, I'm sticking to one thing I loved, and this kind of goes to the same theme here. The Bills today were the more superior physical team by a country mile. Like the superiority of the mental and physical toughness today. Seattle imploded today. I mean, I know the Bills had a bunch of bullshit penalties, so you can't say that it was a perfect game in the sense of the mental errors. But in terms of the mental, the overall mental state of the game, right, where you're not tripping over your center or snapping the ball over your head or throwing a pick on that screen pass that was just thrown right to a Buffalo Bills big man INT, which I never turned down. Even late in the game, when the dude falls on the punt return and it just hits his leg, the Seahawks were such an unraveling mess today, and I loved the Bills' ability. They were just the enforcer all day long.
All you hear was, oh, shit.
I know.
It's never a good thing when you hear, oh, shit. If the wife upstairs were to say, oh, shit, I would pull my things out and just scream to go upstairs to be like, what happened? Because nobody says, oh, shit, the way that guy said, oh, shit. Let me stick on to what I loved. And it's piggyback on what you did, right? And I kind of, the way I'm going to say it is this way, is we capitalized, right? Mm-hmm. Gino Smith, high snap. In the red zone, we take him out of the red zone. They kick a field goal. Love that it worked out in our favor. Sucks for them. Good for us, right? Gino Smith gets stepped on in the red zone again. And it was at the red zone. I'm not sure if it was red zone, but they were pushing. It was red zone. And
Rico, it was 4th and goal. Like it was a huge play.
It was fourth and goal. Exactly right. And we take over And the reason I say it's good is that we've been able to capitalize on that. The punt return, for crying out loud, he slips, it falls right in his lap. It doesn't even bounce. It just dead on his tracks, right? And he still tried to catch it. Was the worst part. Let that shit bounce, roll away from it. He still tries to catch it, bro. We capitalize. Man, the Seahawks, it's one of those days, those days where you just it's a nightmare of a day. You just want to call it a day, right? And just go sleep, take a hot shower and go to bed. Call it a day. It's over. That's what the Seahawks have to do today. And the worst part is after this game, you got to go and talk to the podium, get on the podium, talk it out, and so on. Dude, this is one of those games where I pull a LeBron James when he had that suit and he's wearing a black suit, but the suit pants
he picks up the suitcase.
the suit pants were shorts. He just went like this.
And it feels like he's in a room. In that video, the room is literally the size of like one of those fun houses. It's hilarious. That is one of the funniest videos ever. It feels like he's inside of a funhouse room, Rico. The room feels like it's way too small, and he just stands up and creeps out. Stands
up, picks up his suitcase. I'm out of here. And that's what happened to Seattle today. Seattle imploded, and it was just not good. DK Metcalf, you don't realize how big a piece he is on that team. He's a big piece on that team.
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't able to recover. Tyler Lockett looked old. Lockett looked
heard
old.
His name. I mean, seriously.
3 targets, 1 catch. He looked old. It was Smith and Jigba show today. Jackson Smith and Jigba, and it just wasn't enough. So what I loved is that we capitalized off of what these boys were able to do. Anything else stand out to you? What you hated? Hashtag love
hated.
What you guys got?
Man, what did I hate?
Well, as you think, let me jump in there.
You got one?
What's that? Go ahead.
You got one? Yeah, let's hear it. Let me hear it.
What when I'm looking at what we were able to do today, something that I just like, I feel like we could have done way better in this department, and I'm nitpicking, but try to get your guy involved in Amari Cooper. I want to see more involvement from him. I mean, 3 targets, I get it. If you're cooking with Kincaid, you're cooking with, Coleman, you're cooking with you guys. So I'm nitpicking at this point, but I'd like to see a little bit more involvement from the guy you just traded for. You gave up a 3rd round pick for him. Get him involved. And I get it. It's a long season. There's still a lot to go. Yeah, I'm sure you could have put something together for him, but the way the game plays and the way it comes out, sometimes it's not your day. And today it wasn't his days, but I would have loved to see a little bit more coming from Amari Cooper in this. Anything stand out to you? Because
that's a really good one. My dad kept texting me about that. But I told him, I said, I think that this is 50% of the reason they brought him in. I don't give a damn if he's not doing anything, if everybody else is just cooking it up. And I think that's what it was. I saw a couple of plays today where I would watch him, and he had 2 guys on him, like when he's coming across the field. And I don't know if that was just because that Seattle was in zone or whatever else, but regardless, he is going to be attracting defensive attention. And I think that it's no secret, 2 weeks in a row here, the Bills have had their best passing game by a mile, and these receivers are dominating. So I completely agree with you. I think 2 targets is a little wild because I feel like there was no emphasis on being or drawing anything up to solely involve him. Whereas like today, you saw how many plays where the total design of the play was to go to Khalil Shakir. But maybe that's just because it has only been 2 weeks. I would have assumed with a full week now, they would have had something or 2 cooked up for him to get involved. I completely agree with you there. The only reason I don't get too bitter about it is because I think that half the battle or half the reward of bringing him in was to get what you got today. And that's things, for Shakir and Coleman and Kincaid. So I hope to see him more involved next week because we know Allen loves the ball out against Miami, and it's a perfect spot for Amari Cooper to kind of have that type of game. I'm trying to think though. Man,
as you think, I got my guy George comes in and says, "Hey, you know what? I hated liking Brady as an announcer. Dude did a good job, and I hate giving him credit." Listen, man, I used to respectfully hate Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots, but the minute he left the Patriots and he went to Tampa, he was instantly a lovable guy. I actually liked him, loved him even more nothing made me love him even more when he was absolutely blitzed at the Super Bowl parade and they had to carry that brother out. I was like, yo, this guy's having the time of his life. And I actually enjoyed him more as a Tampa Bay Buck. And now that he's an announcer, yo, he's not too much. He's not overly like Tony Romo. I like Tony Romo, but when Tony Romo was calling plays and all that stuff, Tom Brady was just demure. You like that? He was very demure in the way he was actually even calling the game and pretty much seeing it. And it's lovely because he's been in the game 20 years. He's played since he stopped playing at 45. That's insanity to me, to play at a top league and be the top guy and play till you're 45. And this guy was smooth. He said what he needed to say. And he said the things that we were all thinking, right? He didn't overdo it. I mean, he just kept it G. And you got to love it, man. So, George, don't hate it, man. You got to love it, man. Just embrace it. Embrace Tom Brady, brother. Embrace him.
See, I thought it was just okay. I'm not overly impressed thus far. I think Tom Brady.
Why are you hating?
I'm not hating. Tom Brady's a fine commentator, but he's not what they paid him to be. Unfortunately, I would take the majority of guys right now doing this. I would take over him. I would take Collinsworth. I would take Romo. I would take Olsen. I would take probably Kirk Herbstreit right now. I just think that it's fine, but I don't think it's anything particularly special. And they're paying the guy $100 million to do it. So what I wanted more from him is I wanted more of like, whatever I find him to be saying at any given moment is something that I feel like most fans would observe and then say themselves. I feel like he's never adding the additional GOAT factor to it where he could bring his own knowledge into it. I feel like he's kind of he's got a bit of trepidation right now. I wonder if it comes out over time.
Keep in mind though, this game was a beatdown.
That's
true. How much can you really analyze a beatdown? It was one-sided today. But I do somewhat agree with you, but I kind of like that point because now as a fan sitting at home, you're like, that's what I was thinking. Tom Brady said it. I was thinking the same thing, right? There will be moments where he gives you the GOAT analogy where you're like, ooh, see, that's why he's up there. And they know why they brought him up there. So right now, maybe he's getting his ducks in a row and trying to figure some things out. Seattle, Buffalo, it is what it is. But I thought he did a decent job, man. I thought he was all right.
No,
but I
I'm
get
not
what you're saying.
Bad.
He didn't give you anything like profound. There was nothing profound about it.
So I feel like the way I look at it is like if you were to buy something, so say like you go to the store and there's a bunch of different, as you know, there's a bunch of different types of steaks, right? And you buy the steak that's $100 a pound, then you also buy the steaks that you can get for $10 a pound, $20 a pound. The way I see it, when you cook all those steaks up, was the $100 a pound steak like that much better than the cheaper steaks, or was it all kind of the same? Or was there some of the cheaper steaks you actually liked more? When you pay the guy $100 million, I'm expecting like off the charts analysis, and I just don't feel like it's there yet. But like I said, I feel like it might take time. For some reason, it does feel like he is a bit nervous. Like when he was talking about Allen's ass, and he said he was jealous of Josh Allen's ass. I don't think he meant to say that. I think he was just kind of getting into a spot where he didn't know what to say, and he said it, and it was hilarious. So I did love that. I think it's going to get better. I feel like he's got to get more used to it. But like I said, I don't think it's necessarily bad. What I want from him, though, I want like this stuff. I don't want to be able to sit there and say, oh, you know, I was thinking the same thing. I want him to be able to say something that I'm like, oh, I would never have thought only Tom Brady would see that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for. And I feel like that's what we got from Romo, and that's why everybody liked him so much.
I think we'll get that when there's more of a credible 1-2 punch. If it's like Josh Allen versus Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, you're right.
That's when you'll see the GOAT stuff come in. But it's also hard too, right? It's no different than, and you're in a way you're right? Michael Jordan, 6 championships, no losses. He's going to be a great owner. He was garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible. They were like, get this guy out of here. He may be a winner on the court, but when it comes to managing and doing all that stuff, man, he ain't no good. Get him out of here, right? So, I mean, in a way, I get exactly what you're saying. One thing that I do want to point out, according to our guy Thigh Doc, I got to share this page here. So we were talking about how quiet it was for Amari Cooper. So if you look at what it's saying here, he says, stinger left arm. Nothing major, but worth keeping an eye on. Happened right before the field goal to start the second half. Not sure if the snap count after, if it affected his snap count. That's what Thigh Doc is saying. So Amari Cooper, maybe him getting banged up was a reason that potentially we didn't see too much action going his way. But something definitely to keep an eye on. So shout out to our guy Thigh Dog that pointed that out. So
I
might
remember
be
that
interesting.
play. He comes up after and he rotates his arm. He did stay in though.
Did he? Okay.
I don't think it affected it. I mean, maybe he was banged up a bit, but I don't think it affected the overall game plan. They didn't even look his way really. And like I said, I don't know if it's not because they don't want to. I just think it's because there's other elements available with him being taken away. And I think that's what they needed. That is exactly what they needed, honestly.
Apparently, Gino Smith was crying on the sideline. Is that true?
You're kidding.
Somebody said he was crying on the sideline. He was frustrated.
Those boys were having a rough day today. Like they were having a rough day emotionally. I mean, they were.
This is a day where you come home from work, you drop your briefcase if you're old school like that. Drop your briefcase, drop whatever. You go to the fridge, grab the bottle of wine, no cup, no glass. You go upstairs, run your bath, put some. What do you call those dissolving little bath suds? Those bath bombs. You throw a bath bomb in there and you have your wine and sip on that and soak in that tub all day and then go to bed. This is the day the Seattle Seahawks had. Listen, ladies in this chat right now, I know men don't really do this as much, but isn't a nice bath bomb and a glass of wine, cold glass of white wine, nice? And just have that, play some soothing music in the background. It's shit. My wife used to do that all the time. When she's like, yo, these kids are annoying me, you're up. Wine, bath bomb, bath, gone. We don't see her for the night. That's the Seattle Seahawks today. Tyrell Dotson, terrible. I don't even know how this man was able to get.
I mean, they were bad from top to bottom, man. They didn't do anything good.
Not a good day for these guys.
It was rough.
Not a good day for these guys. Brian Barr says, yo, ask the Kingpin. We were dying on the live stream of Gino crying. Yo, I guess he was crying. I got to look it up. I got to find it.
Please do. I mean, I don't know how I missed this.
Let me find that. Listen, when you got the defense make you cry like that.
All right, so I'm going to give you an example, by the way, of the flag situation. Right now, Brock Purdy just threw an 80-yard touchdown to Deebo Samuel, and it got called back because of a hold.
Oh, my God.
It's just like I'm looking in the corner of my eye here, and I see an awesome play, and then all of a sudden I look down, there's the flag. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I'm watching. Let me see the hold here.
Nah, that hurts, man.
I guess. I don't know. It probably was a hold. It's just, what we said Friday, Rico, that I loved? We said that this game needs to just start being reffed like you're playing basketball at the park, man. If you nail someone, all right, take your shots.
Call your own foul.
Yeah, for real, man. I'm just so sick and tired of it. It's so boring, man.
No, these riffs. The thing is, like, I get it. If something is blatant, something is blatant, right? This is where you got to be better in that regard. But
where's this crying at, man? How did I miss this? Like, how is this a thing?
This is the thing. And
let me see if I can try to find it.
Gino Smith. I mean, there's your still shot.
Oh, there.
There's your still shot. My man was like,
poor Gino. Damn.
And this is not even a cry. This is a whimper. This looks like a.
Yeah, you're right. It's literally like he's just had it. Like you said, like hanging up.
Get that brother. Get that brother a glass of wine, a bottle of wine, and send him to a bath bomb. Let him get in there because
we had these boys crying. We had them fighting each other. I mean, my God.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
What a day.
And things, and this is what you were talking about. Like something like this, just you don't gotta call flag on that, man. He threw the ball.
Watch this.
Like, no, you ain't gotta do all that. Like, I get it.
I just think it's not worth 15.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just told him, say, Gino, knock it off, man. Get back to the huddle and just stop that mess. You do that shit again, you're gonna get it. You call flag on that. Like, come on, man. Like, jeez. But Gino crying, that's classic. Classic Gino.
Or Gino, man. I mean, these guys, they just got their ass kicked today, point blank. It's just the way it was.
It's just the way it was. So now looking at this, listen, these wins are great because putting up 31 points, the Bills can score. Like right now, I think the Bills are one of the best scoring offenses in the game.
Oh, for sure.
I just got to take a quick look to see what we're looking at. I mean, right now, the Bills, 200, what you said, 230 points for that we have thus far?
230 points for, 146 allowed.
Who's got the next best points for?
It's got to be Detroit.
I'm going to take a look right now.
I'm looking it up right now. I have it right here, Rico.
So the Bills at 230. The next team is the Baltimore Ravens at 242.
I don't think this is updated because it still has the Bills at 199 on this.
I have mine at 230.
You have it updated? Okay, nice. So what is it again?
ESPN. So right now, the Bills are the number 2 scoring offense based on total points.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're number 2.
Hell yeah.
You got what do you call actually we're number 3. The Buccaneers put some points up.
Oh yeah, they got 235.
Yeah. So we're top 5 scoring offense.
We're number 4. We're number 4. The Lions have 234 too.
Yeah, top 5 scoring offense.
Mhm.
And I feel that we haven't even got we haven't even hit our peak. And we're putting up points like that, man. So big kudos to I was about to say Richie. Big kudos to Joe Brady in this offense. We're rolling, we're moving it. We got a super chat. Winning Super Bowl. Browns clown the Ravens on top of the. All right, listen. Bills, we can get into Bills talk all we want. But there's a few crucial games that we got to talk about before we wrap this up. Bot's like feeling good when he's got the arm crossed. All right. Let's go Baltimore, Cleveland. What the hell happened today?
Jameis Winston happened, baby. You saw today just how bad of a quarterback Deshaun Watson is. And my buddy Zay, Chef Zay, big Browns fan, he told me the worst thing that could happen is the Browns going out there with Jameis Winston, putting up 20 plus, which they had not done all year. Did you know the Browns were the only team in Division I college football and the NFL to not score 20 plus points this year? Not once.
Oh, that's brutal.
They were the only team in football, Rico, in America to have not done it. And today, against what looked like maybe the best team in football the last month, the Baltimore Ravens, Jameis Winston takes out these Browns. And they score 29 points. They hadn't scored more than 20 all year. And Zay had told me that the biggest problem that could probably occur here is if the Browns go out and do exactly what they did today, because the fan base is going to be like, look, this is what we've been asking for all along. We knew this was a problem. We knew we had to make a change. And now with Watson gone because of the injury, and you're watching how bad it was, and now what they were able to do today, how can you justify putting them back in? I know Pedro's saying Ravens were down 3 starting quarterbacks today. Would the Browns have scored 29 with Deshaun Watson today? My guess would be no, because they haven't scored 20 or more without him. So that was beyond impressive. Now the Ravens, I don't know what it is about them. They are so susceptible to losing to teams beneath them. They've been doing it for years. They blow leads like no one's business. There's nobody better in the league than blowing a lead late in the game. And they're also really like they're one of those teams that tends to find a way to muck it up against a inferior opponent. This could cost them significantly, Rico. They're two of their 3 losses now, like I mentioned at the top of the show, against the Browns and the Raiders. You're starting to see the top of the AFC start to form here with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans. These games are going to be so crucial. The margin at the top for the seeding is going to be so close. I'll tell you, Rico, man, these are going to be a couple things you look back on, and I think this could really cost the Ravens. And there's no way now. You got to think about it like this. From their perspective, home field advantage is gone. They are not, the Chiefs are not losing a 3-game advantage on the Ravens now. The Chiefs would have to lose 3, or excuse me, the Chiefs would have to lose 4 games because they have the head-to-head with the Ravens. So you could almost argue today that the Ravens lost their ability to get home field advantage, and that was to the Browns. So shout out to Cleveland, man. Crazy win for them.
That was a crucial loss today. That's a crucial loss. Now, not because it's playoff implementation for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are done. Mm-hmm. But the Ravens losing this, going 5-3. And I'm going to take a look at their schedule to see like what it looks like, because it's a dog-eat-dog world in this. And if the Browns don't have a bad defense, they have a good defense. It's offensively they just haven't been able to do anything. The Ravens next, they have the Broncos. Yikes! They got the Bengals division game, then the Steelers. So back-to-back division game.
That ain't easy, right there.
That ain't easy, bro. So it's going to be interesting. And that defense, although the Ravens were hot with a 5-game win streak, that defense was always the issue. They were always saying it. Ing Ravens, one of our guys that is a Ravens content creator, he's been saying it. Like, offensively, we're doing what we need to do, but defensively, we're soft, bro. We got good corners, but like there's some spots that we just don't have it. Them being down 3 cornerbacks really did hurt them today. But that Steelers, then they play the Chargers right after that, which is a tough one. Yo, they got their hands full. They got their hands full in the next few games, man. But
I mean, they're going to be fine, but the thing of it is in terms of the impact of that loss, like I was just mentioning, like they legitimately lost any hope of a 1 seed today. And I think that they were going to be in the mix for that. So huge loss for them. And then the AFC East, Rico. The AFC East is the worst division in football, perhaps, if it weren't for the Buffalo Bills holding this thing up on their back right now.
What the hell happened to the Jets today? What happened? I didn't see any highlights. I haven't looked at a damn thing.
The Jets have
lost.
The Jets are just the Jets, man. The Jets are the Jets. They somehow allowed the Patriots to score 25 points. I'm not sure they've scored 25 all year, to be 100% honest with you. And you know what's crazy to me is this defense. They've played 3 games since firing Robert Saleh. The defenses look worse in those 3 games than they looked in the beginning of the year with Robert Saleh. This team has I don't think people quite understand how much what they did to this organization in pursuit of making it better. For it to wound up making them worse.
Yeah.
It is insane. What they put into it resource-wise, financially. They are today, right now, the New York Jets, as we sit here, are 2-6. At this point last year, or what are they? No, 2-5? They're 2-6. Right now, the Jets are 2-6. At this point in the season last year, with Zach Wilson, they were 4-4. They had twice as many wins as they did at this point last year with Zach Wilson. And the Jets completely flipped their organization on its head for Aaron Rodgers. And look at what the result of it is. And the problem with it is not only currently are they suffering with it, this is going to have a probably, I would imagine, about a decade-long impact of them trying to crawl out of this gutter because of the amount of money spent, the amount of the inability to draft and develop a guy in the meantime here. Like, think about it. Last year, the Jets could have drafted a quarterback or tried to trade up and get one of these top quarterbacks that are falling out right now. They didn't do that. These Jets, I think this is putting them about a decade behind. This is truly incredible what we're watching right now with these Jets. What they did to make it better and the result of that, man, I can't, it's awesome. I'm loving every second of it.
Well, I'll tell you what else is awesome. I just got to play something for you so you understand how awesome this actually is. We talk about the Jets and we, at least I'll speak for me because Jets is the team I hate the most. But when we talk about the Jets, we talk about how inept they can be. And we have friends that cover the Jets. And when they implode,
Richie,
we embrace it. Richie, Jets Central, I believe is Jets Central. I got to Jets Media. Jets fan, good. He's a buddy. He's a friend of the show, if you will. And he's having a hard time. He's having a hard time with this. And I love to share in the misery of friends that cover the team and do content creation. So for your enjoyment,
hold on, before you share it, I just want to say that before you share, I just want to say that this is the result of what the Jets did to this fan base. They sold them a bill of goods that were never going to be able to be cashed in on. And this is why I feel bad for guys like Richie, because why would they not be hyped up for what the Jets were trying to do? But the thing of it is that they sold their soul for something that never seemed like it was going to work out, at least to me, when you're getting Aaron Rodgers into a situation where it wasn't good to begin with. And now he's 40 years old. Then he gets injured again. And all of a sudden your expectations are sky high off of that. What I'm saying here is I feel bad for the fans in a sense that the team completely screwed them over, in my opinion. And now you're watching, unfortunately, them suffer because of it. And it's a damn shame.
Listen, Richie, if ever you do see this, or we might snip it and send it to you, our condolences. Season's over. I don't know what you do at this point when the season's over this early. Like,
you start making mock drafts, baby. You start mock drafting, and that's what you do.
You start making mock drafts. I don't know, Richie. I feel for you, brother. But you can join TD because both of y'all in the same boat. I feel for y'all, man. Sometimes TD. I want to scream from the mountaintops down to the bottom of the AFC East and check if you guys are okay, but I don't care.
Speaking of TD, Rico, his live stream after the Dolphins lost today, the title of it was "Tank for Shadur Now" with a bunch of fire emoji. He wants to tank, so that's what the AFC is.
Let's talk. Let's see what how Richie reacted to the Jets getting upset by the Patriots.
Aaron Rodgers goes out there. He comes to the Jets, brings in his buddy Devontae Adams. Hassan Reddick is back. All for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sick of this shit. Absolute embarrassment. This is the worst.
Yeah, he can't even talk.
Dude, I couldn't either, man. I don't know how these guys are doing it. I would be losing my
That is the worst loss as a Jets fan I have ever witnessed in my 26 years of being alive on this planet.
There's been worse.
It does not get worse than this. This is the bottom of the barrel for us Jets fans. The bottom. There is no going up from here in this moment. Excuse me. There's only going up from here because there's no going further down.
There is.
This is the bottom. We have Aaron Rodgers, and we can't even beat Drake May and Jacoby Brissett.
To be fair, Jacoby's
Are you kidding me?
He's that dude.
Sell the team, Woody. I'm sick of this shit. Absolute nonsense. They should be ashamed of themselves. Absolute ashamed. Losing to the worst team in football. The Patriots suck, and we're just as bad.
Hold on now. Have some respect for the Patriots. Patriots defense can play. Don't disrespect the Patriots like that. But let them go off. Go off, Richie.
This is nonsense. I'm sick. People are worrying, Richie, why are you not excited about this game coming up? Where's your energy? Because I don't see anything to be optimistic about anymore. I don't see anything. All I see is players on a roster. I don't see a team. This is bullshit. We are a joke and a laughing stock. Officially, man. There's no more excuses. The reality is the reality. There's no more spinning optimism. We are a dysfunctional mess.
Yeah, he's
Aaron Rodgers.
Poor guy.
See, the unfortunate thing is it took a long time, I think, for the Jets fans to realize what I think was inevitable all along. And that's what's sad about it, because it did seem like it should work. But when you took the cover off and dissected what they were trying to do, why would it work? You're trying to have a 41-year-old quarterback off an ACL tear save your entire franchise. And when it doesn't work, you fire your coach, who was the only decent part of your team in terms of the defensive side of the ball, and they were playing well. It made no sense to fire him. You change offensive coordinators instead of firing your offensive coordinator, which you should have done. You don't sign Hassan Reddick until 8 weeks into the season. You sign Devontae Adams for what? Why? Why would you do that? You're not a team in pursuit of a Super Bowl. You're acting like you are, and then you sign Devontae Adams and you lose to the Steelers and the Patriots in succession. They are an absolute joke of a franchise, and to some degree I feel bad for the fans, because I just feel like they are so inept, they are so poorly run, and they are probably the most dysfunctional organization in maybe all of sports, that I just don't know. I don't know how you continue to have any, like you said, I don't know how you have any faith anymore. I really don't. I just don't know how you could possibly be. It's crazy. Yeah, I would be worse than he was, honestly.
Well, listen, if you thought you had a chance with the Dolphins, with the Jets, maybe the Dolphins would have maybe a glimmer of hope. It wasn't the case today with my guy.
Oh, poor TD, man.
Or TD.
Oh, TD.
There's the score in the back. If you guys can see it, 27-25. We just saw a play happen where the Cardinals. Listen, Kyler Murray is a baller.
Dude,
Kyler Murray is he's him. You don't play with Kyler Murray.
He's tough, man.
He's tough. This guy's a good quarterback. He didn't get drafted number 1 overall for no reason, folks. Let's watch this epic meltdown from our guy, TD. He's got hope in his eyes right here. Hope. And there it is. It's gone.
He missed it. Wait, no, he did it.
There it is. The gulp was gone in that look. Mr.
I wish I could say it would get better for TD, but he's got to go to Buffalo this coming Sunday.
Poor guy. How do you do that as a fan? Like look at all the posters he got in the background.
They blew that game, dude. I think they were up by 10 points.
They did blow it. It's not over yet, but see, his wife is very consoling. What do you need? She said, "What do you need, babe?"
That's nice. It's nice. I'm glad he has that. He needs that right now, because this team has been absolutely horrendous. But they did look better today offensively, and the fact that they still lost, I mean, that was a bad loss for them.
He said, "What do you need, babe? You need anything?" He said, "I can't."
It's okay.
It's okay.
That's the cherry on top. The notification coming in of the Patriots beating the Jets. Yes.
I love you. It's okay.
Words of encouragement. I'll tell you right now, man. Wifey can come in and say, "I love you." It's okay. It actually does feel a little better. Had she come in and give him a rub on the shoulder, it would have been a little better. But he's in his feelings right now. He can't function. He hasn't said a word yet. I feel for the brother. I do. And this is what sports does to us.
Oh,
it
it
messes with our psyche. It messes with us emotionally. It takes the wind out of us. It takes the emotion. It takes the energy out of us. He hasn't said a word yet.
Dude, after the Bills lost the 13-second game to the Chiefs, I didn't speak for 24 straight hours.
Super chats for you?
He doesn't know. He's like, what do I say? I don't know. I want to root for my squad and say, it's going to be better, but there is no, it's going to be better. It's a wrap.
It's over. It's over. Not a single one of these teams are making the playoffs, man. It's over.
It's a tough.
People were arguing, Rico. People were arguing in the beginning of the year that there could be 3 playoff teams out of the AFC East, and there is going to be 1, and that's it.
They were saying that, weren't they? 3
yes.
playoff teams.
I mean, it's crazy, dude.
What? But you know what? If what happened? What do you with the Jets? Where did things go wrong? Where do you think they went wrong?
Where has it gone right? I mean, that's the thing. It was never right. Like, it's not like, this is what I think people failed to understand. This is why I never understood it. It's not that it went wrong. It just, everybody thought it was right. And so when it was continuing to go wrong, they were like, well, how is this happening? Well, it was never right to begin with. It was never in a spot to succeed. Everyone just thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to be an MVP again. And he thought that because of Aaron Rodgers, the Jets will just be a Super Bowl contender. And that was never going to be the case. Aaron Rodgers was not great in Green Bay his final year. He had the 2 MVPs, and then the year before they shipped him off, he wasn't all that great. And then he gets hurt, and he's 41 years old off of a season-ending injury, and you got Nathaniel Hackett calling the plays. I don't understand why anybody thought that was going to be a recipe for a Super Bowl contending team.
Hackett blows. You should have never went to Hackett. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I just don't get it. Where was in dude, people like respectable, reputable people were putting their credibility on the line for this team. I just don't understand where it came from.
You got to move on from the GM. GM's got to go. The GM has got to go. You break the whole thing up. You're restarting. I mean, and their thing is they're too talented. They're way too talented to blow this whole thing up. But it's you put money in Devontae, you put money in Aaron Rodgers, you just signed Hassan Reddick. I don't know what the hell that was supposed to do for you. You should have ended that thing early so you can have a defensive advantage, but you let that thing play out, and now it's too late.
That's a perfect example of the ineptness. It's like what you were going to pay him all along. You're just going to wait 8 weeks. Like, what 8 are you?
Weeks, and then what?
It's what they always do. It's a panic move. Oh, we got to do something to appease the fan base now. So sign Reddick, sign Devontae Adams, fire the coach. Like, it's ridiculous.
Here's the silver lining in all of this. The Bills are 6-2. That's just there's no other ways. There's no other ways to look at it. The Bills are 6-2. The Jets are abysmal. The Dolphins, they're just lost. Tua coming back to save the season, and now it's over. So now what do you do with them? Do you shut them back down again? Can't now. You can't now. You made him come back at a crucial moment to see if you can save your season, and the win you thought you were supposed to get, you didn't get it. Now what you do? You're practically eliminated from the playoffs. Unless there's a big time implosion from the Bills, you're done.
So this is my question to you then, because I'm interested. I would have assumed that either the Jets or the Dolphins would have been one of the playoff teams, and it's not looking good. And Cincinnati lost again today too, by the way. What are the playoff teams to you right now, Rico? So right now it'd be
if the playoffs started today.
No, I'm saying, like, who do you think the 7 teams will be? Obviously, you're going to have the Chiefs, the Texans, the Bills, the Ravens. What do you think the 3 other teams are going to be?
All right, let's look at this for real. That's a great question. So if I'm looking at the AFC, legitimately. And there's some teams that are trending well and they're getting healthy.
Oh, the Steelers too, of course. I forgot. I keep forgetting the Steelers are freaking 5-2.
So give me those teams right there. Those 4 teams.
Those 5 teams.
Texans, Bills, Steelers.
Texans, Bills, Steelers, Ravens, Chiefs. That's 5.
There's the Ravens. There you got 5. So you got to add 2 more teams.
Yeah.
The 2 more teams that you're going to add are going to be between, as of right now, the 5-3 Denver Broncos.
Crazy.
The Chargers.
Yep.
Oh my God, what a mess. After that's a mess.
Dude, it's an absolute mess.
It's
and
an
then
absolute
the Colts are at 4-4.
I think the Colts blow. And Anthony Richardson, did you see this guy today?
He is not that dude. He is not.
He's not. He
blows.
Boy,
it is bad.
I want to support the black quarterback. I want to, because it's just, we've come a long way, and I'm always for having diversity at the position, especially the history of it all. This guy sucks. He's like, he's what was that bum that came from the Raiders that drafted
Marcus Russell?
He's Jamarcus Russell. This idiot today.
He's so bad, man.
He did 2 things today. There was supposed to be time off the clock. He runs and scrambles, runs for 20 yards, doesn't get out of bounds, takes off another 20 seconds off the clock, gives his team no opportunity, no awareness, no
How about the pick before half? Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Rico, he lost them the game. They only lost this game by 3. He threw a pick before half. Dude, he might as well have just placed the ball down on the ground. It was crazy.
He gets hit on the hip, and he's I don't know, he got off slow, and they're like, oh shit, he's hurt again, right? He doesn't want to have that label of being hurt. So what does he say? I was actually gassed. I was tired.
Oh my God. How can you believe
he never said that?
He said that?
Everybody's like, yo, you're 22. You're a rookie. What are you getting gassed for? Your franchise quarterback is gassed? Bro, this guy, I'm done with that guy.
I don't care if you're gassed to the point where you got to go get oxygen. You cannot say that to the press. They're going to have a field day with you. You can't do that.
As they should, and as they have.
My God.
Players are roasting him. His own teammates are probably going to be roasting him. Bro, that's an awful look. So I'm not even going to give the Colts that chance. So
we play him in 2 weeks, by the way. That's after the Dolphins, by the way.
Eat him up. So I say Denver, and I'm going to give you know what? The Dolphins have a chance here.
You be quiet over there.
The Dolphins have a chance.
You be quiet over there. What are you? You're going to be 2-6 in 7 days from now.
Bro, listen. You're right. Right? You're right. Hold on. The Chargers are 4-3.
They suck though, man. They are
here's
one of the worst watches in football, the Chargers.
Listen to me though. Chargers 4-3, Colts 4-4. Then after that, it's the Bengals, Dolphins, Cleveland. Look at the amount of 2-6 teams that are in our division.
You know what's crazy is the AFC used to be so much better than the NFC. The NFC is wildly better than the AFC this year.
2-6 Jets, 2-6 Patriots, 2-6 Jaguars, 2-6 Raiders, 2-6 Browns, 2-5 Dolphins. They're going to be 2-6 by next week. 2-3. Listen, it's going to be Cincy. Maybe Cincy.
Dude, they lost again today. Philly kicked their ass, dude. They doubled them up. Philly won that game 34-17 today, and Philly hasn't looked like that type of team this year.
Bro, so what we need to do is get the 2nd seed and 1st seed. 1st or 2nd seed, and then we can play 6 or 7. Dylan's talking truth right now. 6 and 7 seed are terrible. That's what we need.
If the Bills, dude, do you know how massive the Bills-Chiefs game will be if the Bills win their next 2? Going in, because then if the Bills beat the Chiefs, it would be a 1-game margin for the top seed, and that's not who are the Chiefs. Let me see the Chiefs schedule real quick.
Hold on. Just hold on a second. Just pump your brakes a little bit, because I'll tell you this: when the game comes, I won't be excited for that. I'll tell you right now.
You will
know
not
why I'm not going to be excited.
Why? Because they're going to win, and then it's not, and then
because it doesn't matter. I don't care what we do in the regular season anymore.
No, but if the 1 seed's on the line, it'll matter.
I don't give a shit.
Dude, that bye, we've never had a bye with Allen. We don't know how much of a factor that could be.
It doesn't matter how you want to slice it. Once we get to the playoffs,
you would rather play an extra playoff game? Listen to yourself. Could you imagine if we had a bye, Rico? Imagine sitting on your ass watching Wild Card Weekend. How amazing would that be? Think about it. Think about
it. I'm thinking about it, and I'm telling you when it matters most in the playoffs is when we suck. So I don't care what we do in the regular season. We're making the playoffs regardless. We're going to win that division. It's about what we do in the playoffs. I mean it, and I stand on my business when I say it. If McDermott doesn't get it done, if they say, you're out of here, McDermott, I won't even blink an eye. I'll be like, I get it. I absolutely get it. I get it. Because all this regular season shit is cute. It's cute to me.
I agree with you, but there could be a legitimate scenario where the Bills against the Chiefs in the regular season could have major implications on the 1 seed, because that's why that Ravens loss was so big today.
Oh, that Ravens loss was huge. That's a big loss.
Because that's now a game that they got to make up on the Bills and the Texans.
Bro, that's a great question. You said when you look at the playoffs, if you're looking at who's going to make the playoffs and all that good stuff, like what do you, dude? It's not good. The AFC. When did this become what it is right now? Yikes!
And with those Ravens games coming up, like those are tougher games than the Bills have coming up here the next 2 weeks.
What do we got? What do we got coming up?
We got the Dolphins, we got the Colts, and then we got the Chiefs.
And then we have a bye after or before the Chiefs.
So no, it goes Dolphins at home this week. Then they got to go to Indianapolis, and then they are at home against the Chiefs. Then it's the bye. Then they host San Francisco.
Ah, yes, after the bye, San Fran. Oh, buddy. There you go. It's welcome to the NFL, man. And this is craziness to me, man. And here we are.
The AFC has been melting down this year. It's so top heavy.
It is top heavy. It absolutely is top heavy.
But looking at it, isn't it beautiful to look at?
I'm trying to look at if the playoffs were to start today, but I don't think they have any playoff simulators yet. I'm going to the NFL.com one to see if there is a playoff simulator, because right now, there is. Golly.
Oh, put it up.
All right, give me a second. Let me cue that up.
Because I know last week the Bills would have been playing Pittsburgh, I believe, if the season had ended that day.
All right, let me cue this up. See if there's any comments that are coming in right now while I try to cue this bad boy up here.
Okay. Richie Fresh sending us about 9,000 of them. That's my man. I love it, because what did I say a couple weeks ago? I want Richie Fresh coming in here excited. I'm sick of Richie Fresh coming in here wanting somebody's ass canned, and Richie's excited this afternoon. Richie's saying, "Boys, no fire, and we the best. We the best. I'm 5 shots deep." Oh man, Richie's
he's in
right now.
He's on one right now.
He's not the only one, by the way, Rico. Pistol Pete said, "I'm shit-faced again. I got to stop drinking with Pierre when I watch the game, baby. Go Bills." Yeah, these past 2 weeks, if you're taking shots with Pierre, your ass is going to be, tough to beat up on a Monday morning.
Pierre's will be shit-faced himself.
Yeah, I mean, these Bills boys are dropping points, man. I mean, if you're drinking along with them, not easy.
All right, so I got it queued up. So let me know if we got more super chats to read.
Oh, we do.
He says, I agree, but only the Bills need 1 seed. McDermott needs to stay, I think. He has stability at this point, to good coaching to win today. More and more, I think McDermott should stay, would take Tomlin. I mean, Tomlin's great. Tomlin is amazing. But Mr. Randy, I'm with you, man. I like McDermott. We love McDermott. Let's not ever get it twisted. I want McDermott to be the coach that wins us a championship, but it's got to be this year.
Listen, Randy, I've tried. You're not talking Rico off this ledge. I got him to a point. I got you somewhere Friday. I did. I threw you the loophole where I said, what happens if the Bills beat the Chiefs and lose to the Ravens?
You did throw me a loophole, and somebody else threw me a loophole as well. And they said, what? And I can't even talk. I compared him to, is he Mark Jackson? Is he Steve Kerr? And someone said, what if you get rid of McDermott and he becomes the Steve Kerr, but somewhere else? So he goes to God knows where, that needs a head coach that can do whatever.
Yeah, like what if Philadelphia fires Sirianni and he goes
he goes back to Philly where it all started, and he wins a championship with Philly? You'll be sick, Rico. You'll be sick. I was like, well, chances are if a team fires their coach, they're firing their coach because the team is not very good.
Yeah,
right?
that would be the equivalent of like when Detroit let Stafford go and then he went and won a Super Bowl with the Rams.
Right.
Like, that's just sickening.
And
dude.
then they're trying to say, well, Andy Reid got fired by the Eagles, and he was a really good coach, and he got fired, and he went to the Chiefs, and he started winning left, right, center. Do you want that to be to McDermott? I was like, listen, man, what do you want me to tell you? We've had 7 years with the same results, and we just keep losing. So was Andy Reid. If we get rid of him, I was like, yeah, but Andy Reid has to find another destination. Think of the team, the franchise. Don't think of the individual, because everybody's thinking of the individual. Think of the franchise, right? If we were like Philly, after Andy Reid left, they brought another coach in Peterson, and they won a championship. So don't give me that shit, man. If they move on from McDermott, and I hate to even say it, but if they move on from McDermott and we get another coach and they win it, what are we going to talk about? If McDermott wins it another year, win-win. Because Philly won, and so did the Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid. It's a win-win situation. Anyway, let me get into the playoff talk, because you guys got me all fired up on this stuff. All right, here we go. Here, if the playoffs were to start today, all right, playoffs start today. Can you guys see the screen properly? So, look at this. So let me go. Are we AFC right here? So right now, the number 1 seed would be the Chiefs, clearly. The 2 seed would be the Texans. 3 seed, the Bills. 4 seed, 5 seed, Broncos. 7 seed, Chargers.
I don't like this. The Bills would play the Ravens.
And you know what? And which brings me back to my point. We've lost to the Ravens before. So if the Bills lose to the Ravens again, shame on McDermott. Because you already had your chance with the Bills with beating them the first time in the week. Now, this is your time to hit them back in the mouth, because they got you in the regular season, right? But then that's a whole nother ballgame. Now, here's what's the interesting part. On the bubble. Look at the amount of teams on the bubble. Bro, this is sick. Colts.
Dude, the Bills draw and the Ravens in the wild card would be a tough draw, man.
I'm telling you right now, man, the Jets are still mathematically still in it. Look at their percentage to get in is 20%.
Yeah, mathematically, I could also become the president. The math behind that, though, isn't all that great.
Listen, the Jets being 2-6 are still a 20% chance to make the playoffs. The Bengals, 27%. The Colts at 36%. The Jets are very much still in it.
Does that say the Dolphins are at 5%?
Dolphins, 5%.
Why is that? I wonder why that is. Why is it so different between them and the Jets?
I couldn't tell you, brother. I could not tell you.
Strength of schedule, maybe? I don't know. That's crazy, though.
I couldn't tell you, man. But right now, the Jets are still 20% chance in it. I mean, listen, at one point last year, weren't the Bills at like 0.1% to make it?
The Bills had a 0.1 chance to be a top 2 seed.
There you go. 0.1.
Or whatever it was, a top 3 seed or whatever.
Whichever the case is. The point is this. We needed to win for us to get in. Because if we lost that game in the last game, we were done. It ain't over for the Jets. So, Richie, calm your tits, okay? Calm them titties, Richie. You're still in it, big guy. You got 20% chance. Now, if you go ahead and lose again, then it's a wrap.
No, I'm here to tell you it's over. Okay, I'm sorry to say it. I already said it's the denouement.
It's a denouement.
Over.
Listen. It very well might be over. Jeff Kings comes in and says the Baltimore loss to the Browns today will be debilitating to the Ravens' psyche. Trust me, they became mortal today. And you know what? That could be right, man. Maybe I
thought the same when they lost to the Raiders, and then they peeled off like 4 insane wins.
They were feeling themselves way too much, and maybe this loss just throws them all the way off. I don't know. Who knows, man? But I think their psyche is a little tougher now, because they started the season 0-2. 0-2. So that their psyche was already rattled then, and then they ripped off 5 in a row. So they're ebbs and flows. They're probably looking at you guys. We lost this one. All right. And we let these guys off the hook because we thought Jameis Winston was going to come in and just throw his picks all day. Jameis was like, yo, man, God's on my side, baby. When God's on my side, ain't nothing going to happen. And guess what? He lit them boys up.
He's one of my favorite guys ever. Everything he does is the best. It's just the best.
He's a classic.
He was locked in today. Like the pregame interview, he was just like you just said, he's like, God's got me today, whatever. And then he went out and did his thing, man. He went out and did his thing.
He absolutely did. Check this out. We got a comment coming in from Lead Robster.
Lead
Robster says, "Hey, bot, can you have bad feelings about games more often?" I love it. He goes, "Love you guys. Just tuning in now to the best channel on YouTube." You know what?
Oh, high praise.
That's my guy.
But unfortunately, I got some bad news for you. I don't got a bad feeling about this Dolphins game. So that's
you know what? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't have a bad feeling about this one either. Not whatsoever. Anytime we play the Dolphins, I never feel like,
oh, I look forward to it because everybody gets so excited. They're all like, this is the time we're going to do it. And then Allen just balls out.
The matchup just works out well for us. It's just a great matchup. Richie says, yo, Bot, I'm dead serious, man. We going to 59?
Super Bowl 59 this year.
Hey, Super Bowl 59. I like it. Richie comes back and says, yo, something about this game got me to rock. Golly. All right, bro. All right, bro.
Man.
All right, put that thing away, bro. You're going to hurt somebody. Put that thing away. Put some ice in there. Take a jug of water and just, open them drawers up, man. Just let it go.
He's thinking I got my eyes set on the Lombardi. Listen, like you said, though, and to your point earlier, and I understand what you were saying. I don't think you would turn down a 1 seed, but the overall sentiment is the exact same thing that you and I both share. We said it the other day. We said, win or lose this Sunday or whatever, we know the Bills, unless Josh Allen decides to go into the witness protection program and we never hear from him again, the Bills are winning this division and they're going to be a top 4 seed. So I'm not overly concerned if the Bills go and lose a game or two that they should have won or whatever else. It is all about the playoffs to me, obviously, because that's where it's at right now and that's where it's been.
Yep.
But with these regular season games, I think you're watching an evolvement of this team that's getting me excited about the opportunity in the playoffs. And then the idea of the health of the defense being back to what we would want it to be at that time too. I just think the Bills are in such a good spot right now, especially with how bad the East is, to be as prepared for the playoffs as they've been, because they're going to know for probably 2 months, Rico, how they're set up. And I just think that at that point you prioritize the playoffs at that point. And I just think they're in a hell of a spot right now, man. Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better. Signified Nose comes in and says week 4 was a fluke for sure, but the style the Ravens play is tough for our defense. How do you guys feel about a playoff matchup with them? I feel great about it. I honestly feel that we just got hit in the mouth and we just never recovered from it. And typically we normally defend, unless I'm wrong here, but we normally defend Derrick Henry quite well. It's just that we got hit in the mouth and we just could not recover. I can guarantee you, we play the Ravens again. Ravens, nevermore. It's not going to happen again. You're not beating us twice. That's for damn sure. And I stand on that. How you feel about it?
I don't feel good about it at all.
Really?
I don't like that matchup. I don't like that matchup for the Bills. I just think that they are such a run-heavy team, and their ability to do it with major success. They're averaging over 200 yards a game right now on the ground. I just think that it's not an advantageous matchup for Buffalo. I don't think that week 4 was a fluke so much as I think it was just a terrible game for Buffalo. They will obviously play better if they see him again.
Yeah.
But I just think I agree with him in the sense that I think out of all the teams the Bills could play in the playoffs, the Ravens would probably be the last I would choose, not including Kansas City, because I don't think anybody wants to play Kansas City ever. But outside of that, the Ravens to me just pose the biggest threat in terms of the personnel they have offensively. What the Bills would have to do in that game is what teams that have beaten the Ravens this year have done, and that's score points. That was the biggest problem. The Bills were not matching early on what Baltimore was throwing at them, and they got down too quick, and then it was over. The Bills couldn't score in that game. The Ravens are susceptible to being scored on. So the Bills offense would have to have a terrific day in that game. But, I'm seeing in the comments, that's a good point too. It could be a different ball game with Milano out there defending as well. So
I can't wait. That's why I feel good, man.
Yeah, to your point, it won't be what that game was. I just think out of all the choices, the Ravens to me are the toughest matchup for the Bills.
Richie comes in and says, yo, I'll pay 4 flights here for Rico and Bot to 716 to party. 59, here we come. Try me. Nothing more than I want to party with you boys. Listen, if we go to the Super Bowl, I'm holding your feet to the fire. Bring me and Bot. We will party. I'm not even a beer drinker, but I'll drink beer. I will drink beer and we're going to get blitzed. Boy,
you know what?
Have a good old time.
So here's what I have always envisioned what I'll do if they ever make the Super Bowl.
What's that?
It will be me and my parents locked in a room, and no one leaves and no one comes out. I will not be around anybody but that nuclear family for that entire duration. I will be as nervous as I've ever been in my life, probably to the point of vomiting. for the entire time. I won't be able to sit. I won't be able to function. And if I'm around people that aren't going to be matching that energy, which they will not be, I will lose my mind. I will need to be in a room that is big enough for me to pace around in with nobody else in it but my family. I've thought about this multiple times. Now, if they win it, I will immediately get in the car. We will drive to Buffalo, and I will get as drunk as I've ever gotten in my entire life. Out in the streets of Buffalo for at least a week. At least a week.
Listen,
I will be hammered for a minimum.
I'll even wear Z-Bot pants, hat, gloves, Z-Bot. You look like a Z-Bot idiot.
Yep. I'll wear a pair of underpants, and you can paint my whole body, and I'll walk around Buffalo for a week straight.
Listen, pair me up next to freaking Pinto Ron. You can mustard all that nonsense.
You could put cigarettes out on me if you want. I don't care what. You can tattoo my ass in the middle of the street. I don't give a damn. We're gonna be doing it all. We're gonna be doing everything.
We're ripping that for sure.
We're gonna be doing all of it.
Richie, yo, clip this. You gonna remember this, boy. We need to make that Super Bowl.
No, that's a promise. If we win it, I will be out in the streets of Buffalo, and Richie and whoever else can come meet up with us, and we can party like we've never partied in our life.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Richie. Wifey's not letting me go by myself. So if you're gonna fly you gotta fly her out too, because she's let me do all the things I'll do right now. So it'll be just as good for her as it for me. So you gotta fly us all out. And
have you ever thought about that though? Have you ever thought about if they did make it? Like, how would you do it? What would it look like?
Listen, what I told her is if the minute the clocks hit 0 in the AFC Championship, and they say, and the Buffalo Bills are headed to Super Bowl 59.
That week's gonna be amazing if that ever happens.
Don't talk to me. Don't do nothing. I don't want to hear, but babe, we have a party that we're supposed to cancel everything. We're going to Buffalo, but I don't have my passport. Figure out a way to get down there because I'm going down there, whether you like it or not. Get your parents to babysit. We're heading to Buffalo and we're having a time. We ain't never gonna forget this. Straight up. That's why fans of the early 90s, when the Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 straight times, was painful, but it must have been a party every freaking year, at least for the first 2. The third one, you probably would be like, oh, hey, man, we need to win this one. Like, this party all hard and stuff, but we got to win this one. Fourth one, you're probably like, okay.
You've had enough by then.
We've had enough by then. We got to win this one. Seriously, we've got to win this one. First 2 years, first straight 2, going to 2 Super Bowls, man, you're partying like crazy. Third year, you're going to party hard, but like, all right, third time's a charm. We're going to win this one, right? Right? No, we don't. Fourth one? Bro.
The 2 weeks, though, because there's 2 weeks between the championship games and the Super Bowl, that 2 weeks of just prepping for the Super Bowl and enjoying the... Why are we even talking about this right now? Why are we doing this right now? We should not be doing this. We should not be talking about this.
Are we jinxing it?
Yes. We should stop. We should stop, I think. But
oh, my God. All right, we'll stop.
It would be amazing.
One game at a time. We're 1-0 right now.
Correct. Joe Brady will tweet out one. He probably already tweeted out 1-0. That's his thing. No,
baby. We want to know right now. We're gonna cap this conversation and go from there, man. What else you got, man? Because I'm good. I feel good. I feel great.
I feel great, man.
It's gonna start off fantastic. I'm about to go upstairs and probably eat something. It's probably gonna taste the best.
Dude, I got that taco 12-pack waiting for me, man. I feel like $1 million right now. I feel like $1 million. That game was great, man. I loved outside of the penalties. I really loved 90% of that game. What signified, Sam?
He says, though, man, but it's really nice to think about it, though.
It is. It's beyond nice to think about. The problem is that I'm already talking about the thing. I'm talking about things that I shouldn't be talking about, right? Like I'm saying, like, this is what it would be. I'm sitting here and I'm finding myself getting down this fantasy land where I'm like, I gotta snap out of it. Because I want to get there and then allow myself to just bask in whatever would come from it. Because I don't know I can say anything I want right now asking you. I don't think we even know what we would do. Really. I don't even think we don't. I don't think we do. I don't.
We absolutely don't, man. Even Randy says, guys, you have to go to one Super Bowl, Bills Super Bowl, if they're in it.
I can't
he
do
went
it.
to Super Bowls 27 and 28, even losing. He said it was life-changing being there. Nothing like it. If they won, it would be so amazing. I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it was. But at one point, you're like, dude, we gotta nail it. Like, what are we doing here?
Dude, I've walked out of MetLife, for instance, last year, week 1, when the Bills lost on the punt return. I walked out of MetLife and I wanted to just jump in front of oncoming traffic. I don't know what would happen if I'm walking out of the Super Bowl stadium after a loss. I don't know.
Well, he says Z-Bot about to be the landfill in the beer fest.
Dude, I will literally drown in booze.
Jeremy says we're looking too far ahead. And Jeremy, you might be right.
You're right, Jeremy. You're right, damn it.
We got to chill. We got to chill. Jeremy's right. Yo, listen, this is for me, man. I feel good. I feel great.
I feel great. We're 2 hours in, and man, it was nothing but smiles. And it was smiles for the Bills win. It was smiles for the Dolphins and Jets loss. What a great Sunday it was, Rico. Nothing better than Bills domination and the rest of the division completely imploding. What an awesome Sunday. I thought 90% of that game today was terrific. The offense was great. Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir, incredible. The decoy element of Amari Cooper, I think, is allowing this offense to evolve. James Cook was terrific. Josh Allen was awesome. This defense without Terrell Bernard, dominant in the areas in which they have not been great in this year. Collectively today, loved what I saw from these Bills. Coming up's Miami. It's our two favorite weeks of the year. I think we love playing the Dolphins. It's always it's just always a lot of animosity in the air. So it's going to be a fun week this week. I'm feeling great. And we appreciate well over 2,000 people hanging with us throughout the duration of the stream here, because this was a fun one today, and it's going to be a fun week enjoying this one, transitioning to taking on Miami at home.
1,000%. Now, are the Bills flawless in this? Absolutely not. Are there a lot of things that the Bills got to fix? Absolutely. Right. And we're only going to get better and stronger and healthier as these weeks go on. So listen, for the week, let's enjoy it. We're going to be back at it again, but you're back at it again tomorrow. I don't know what the hell you're going to talk about. I mean, recap the week, whatever it is, what you got to do, but we're going to enjoy it, man.
I'm going to be back on with you tomorrow. We're going to be talking more about the game. We'll talk more about what else happened around the league. We'll also get ready to talk about what we're going to see against these now Tua-led Miami Dolphins this upcoming week. Rico will be back with you Tuesday, of course. Him and I will be back with you later in the week. We went 4 hours this past Friday and have a ball. So who knows what we got for you this coming week. But
hold on. So I might be with you guys Tuesday. I might be with you guys Wednesday. I got small group. If you guys know what small group is, that's something I committed to myself that I would do. So if it's Tuesday, it's going to be a late Tuesday show. If not, it'll be Wednesday. But either way, you're going to see me Tuesday or Wednesday. We're going to crack it and get things cracking, baby. Let's go.
I love it. Big week ahead. And today was awesome. We really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoyed the W as much as we did. We look forward to talking to you later on in the week. On the way out, like button and subscribe button if you could. Much love to all you guys. We got a ton of love for you, and we love sharing these W's with you. And we look forward to talking again later in the week. Rico, Bot, we're out. Much love. Hope you enjoyed the dub. We'll talk soon.
Taco Sunday, baby. Taco Sundays. Go Bills.